Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the GLP Report podcast live. This is, I don't even know which number it is. This is the third or fourth one we're doing live. And as usual, we have Jeff from GLP Town Square. Hello.
Hello.
And who else is here? Patrick.
They're not important.
Patrick, I own Disney.
Oh, that's hashtag rude. Hi, everybody.
Elliot from Elliot.
Hey.
Did you finish your abs this week in time?
I told you that I was having a week off for Easter.
Okay, fine. And Richie, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Richie, who was moving last week, so couldn't be here. And special guest today, we have Darren from Darren.
Elliot from Elliot and Darren from Darren.
Special guest.
No.
I like that. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thanks
Hi,
for having me.
Darren have a brand. It's Darren from Darren BTN.
Right. So like a personal brand.
It's a personal brand. It means nothing. Yeah.
How is everyone?
Commonly confused. No,
Ha-
it's
ha-
Darren.
Sorry?
He's called Darren because of Run Disney. Darren.
Oh, yeah,
Get it?
Darren. Yeah.
Run is certain times of the year. Currently,
Yeah.
seasonal. Seasonal. Yeah.
Dad, stay at home.
Underscore. Yeah.
So we started the show with the first song of the day, which was Feel the Magic, obviously the one of the 1992 songs. I don't know, Jeff, you sent me a different one. There was like a whole show, right? Feel the Magic was a whole show.
No,
Wasn't that
I don't
Messi?
know. There's all sorts of things.
Are you saying 1992 was messy already?
No, 1982 wasn't messy, right?
Paris. It explains a lot.
I mean, but it's a cool song. I thought it was pretty good. There's definitely been worse since, and I have all the songs from every 5 year on. So the next one will be the 5th anniversary. But yeah, happy anniversary, everyone! Yay!
Of course, first ever Disney resort to be closed for its anniversary had to be DLP. Like, it wouldn't be any other way.
Right, but I mean that was
quiz
just
question one day.
exactly
Make a note.
Yeah.
what was the first Disney park to be closed for its anniversary. Of course,
Not Disneyland Paris.
yeah.
The
Well,
first park was the Walt Disney Studios park.
Studios. Yeah.
Oh, true.
Right, but we don't count that one.
Let's just go by resort.
And
First resort was Paris. Yeah.
and so
Tokyo's not far up behind.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, Tokyo's going to get it too. I mean, and who knows? Disneyland is up in July.
In like 3 days.
So yeah. Well, before we talk about all the anniversaries, news. There's been some news. I don't know. Did we? Well, there's been the Halloween news, but that was last time while we're doing the show.
Oh, we're on air.
Yeah, we did that
That's-
one.
During my quiz, it was fantastic.
Yeah, and so there's been actually.
APs.
There's been actually some development on this Halloween news, is that, I don't know if it's as a result of us tweeting it and finding it, even though it's public and has been put on the website, they have removed all the casting ads. They're all gone. So if you try to go to the website for the Halloween casting ad, it doesn't work anymore. So I don't know what that means.
So maybe they're not doing 3 parties anymore.
I mean, who knows? I think maybe someone probably in the US said that it was a bit weird and insensitive to start casting for November. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind
Or
of
like they didn't want this type of news coming out in this period. Like,
Well, there's also that it's really difficult to do casting when you can't leave your house.
I think the meta dance, they're like getting send videos.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, also last week when they're rehearsing,
Likely that Mata Dance is happening.
when they're playing Jungle Book Jive, who said that last time? Well, no, Richie, you were moving, but I think that was your news.
What was that? Sorry.
Well, they're not playing Jungle Book Jive in the park.
Oh, yeah. They were testing Jungle Book Jive. They were doing a technical test. So that's like speakers and sound, and sometimes fountains and stuff like that. So like technical rehearsal basically, but without actual cast. But yeah, they were testing that in the park, like doing sound tests for it, which is kind of random.
No, it's going to be so quiet in that area that everyone walk into Ocean and Valdez would just hear joy.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, that's literally what it was. Someone heard it from literally like in the middle of Valdez. They could hear it.
Ocean.
But at
Yeah.
the moment, it does look kind of. It does look kind of unlikely at the moment that it's not going to happen.
Oh, there's no chance that that's happening.
Well,
No.
it looks like this is all kind of rumors and hearsay, but it came out this afternoon. Thanks, Seb, for pointing it out. That it sounds like Macron tomorrow night, when he addresses the nation, will ban gatherings of 100 plus people until the end of the summer.
Now, for me, if they're announcing this kind of thing this early, like, you think that would be something they'd say to go out of lockdown to sort of keep the faith going during the lockdown? Like, why do you want to say to people who...
Because it allows companies to plan.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's Jeff's absolutely right. Yeah. Plus, I think it's been public for a while now. Like, data and stuff like that has suggested that if social distancing is actually going to work, it needs to be in place until at least August. Like, stop any chance of relapse. So I think if you just outright say to people, "Hey, this is what we're looking at," it kind of gives a little bit of timescale for people. Because I think that's what people are struggling with at the moment.
If you're a big festival organizer, you don't want to announce a festival that was June and then go, well, do you know what, we're going to do it in August because it's probably going to be over by then, and then just have to cancel it again. It makes much more sense just to say, look, this summer, it's not happening, guys.
Well, anyway, they've already announced that like concerts and all that were banned until the 31st of May, and they announced that like, way at the start. So I think it's probably, like you said, I think it's probably just a way to give people a bit more scope as to what will not be possible, because everyone's kind of wondering, when will it stop? When can we go outside again? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if it's clear from the start that they're like, okay, if we ever do get a chance to like go back outside before the end of the summer, here's how it's going to have to happen. And it kind of means that everyone, because like the whole thing is like the public message, and they have to repeat like 1,000,000 times before people start like recognizing it as information. So it would make sense. But again, it's a rumor, nobody knows.
Because that's what's happening sort of in the UK, like every day, because there's no idea of any kind of dates. Every single day, the question is, well, when's this all going to be finished?
Yeah.
Cone says, I heard on the news here that the rule of thumb should be take the time the pandemic lasted, do that times 2, and that's the extra period the social distancing should happen. So,
well, the thing is, we haven't reached a peak yet, and so the logic would dictate that if we social distance and confined before the peak has been reached, you would obviously need to do that at least the same amount of time afterwards to kind of get away from that. It would kind of make sense that you would need to double as much time behind the peak. If not, it's just going to start a second wave, and then we've done this for nothing. So,
I suppose the cancellation process is that's a process of trying to ease congestion of cancelling certain events as we go. So Pride eventually, Run Disney's probably not going to happen because that was this month, wasn't it? For bids to go out this month. So
yeah, that's the problem. There's no time for people to buy them, and even like Pride,
there's nobody there.
How many tickets did they sell for Pride back in February? Because that's basically the last time that people were actually still considering that they could go. And so if they put them back on sale like a week before, they're going to have like 1,000 people. I don't know how many tickets have sold, but I mean, it can't be that much. They've been on sale for like not even a month.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That was like 2 weeks or so, wasn't it? Before they put it on sale, then they did the thing up to Valentine's Day-ish. And then like another 2 or 3. Yeah.
And
I don't know how long that pre-sale was for, because they were on sale for a certain period of time at a reduced rate, wasn't it? If you bought was it 6 or more?
I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. I don't know. I think it was something like that.
Yeah, so there'd be an initial surge of people buying stuff, and then tickets, and then slowly quieting off. Yeah,
I have a ticket, but
I've got a ticket. Yeah,
but then I feel like then
my refund.
The question then is going to be, I think like people are looking forward for the parks to reopen, but when they do reopen, it's not going to be like, hey, we're now open, come and enjoy the parks as you know them. I think there's going to be a lot of changes, and it's possible that we'll just go back into that mode that we were in the last week, meaning no parades, no nominations, only for meet and greets. And dare I even say, if they limit the capacity of the parks or the resort as a whole, would they even open Walt Disney Studios? Does it even make sense? Because what is left in there is just like Tower or Ratatouille, basically.
But surely that's better as it creates more space. Like, they can't just...
You have to staff it, though. What they have to look at, though, is staffing levels, once this is over, are going to be all over the place, because you don't know how many staff they're going to retain. You don't know how many staff are going to go and come back.
How many hotels do you open, and what do you do with people who booked at other hotels? Do you move everyone to Disneyland Hotel?
It's like 1992 all over again. Let's start closing.
It's going to be a really weird thing. I think the best way of thinking about it at the moment is, okay, so the parks might be now closed until the end of summer. If they reopen earlier, then amazing. That's great, but don't expect it.
Yeah. Would they consider only letting hotel guests in at the first? I mean, why not?
Well, how many people are willing to book a hotel stay just to, like, I don't know. It's kind of unsure what type of person is going to want to actually book a hotel stay, because it's so, like, diehard fans are kind of mad to get back in, but like regular guests, I'm not sure how many are going to be like, let's
and then what do you do with pass holders, because they might just book a room only, but most probably won't. Whose pass do you extend in that case?
Oh boy,
it gets a bit messy pretty quick.
It's also if people want to go back, isn't it? They just us as APs want to go back, families, other people booking a trip, they may slow. They come back over time, I guess.
I mean, of course, as fans, we're going to be there on day one. But I think, if you're a family of 4 and you're not looking at booking vacation, I think, for the rest of the year. I mean, and especially at a theme park, at a crowded theme park, I think there's going to be a lot of families who are going to think twice. Even if they're loud.
But JP Morgan predicted a 2.5-year period for attendance pre-COVID-19 levels.
But you're looking at JP Morgan, who also said, hey, look, the parks will reopen on June the 1st because that's when you can book from. Like, come on. There was another financial institution, I forgot which one it was, who said that they expect in the second half of the current fiscal year to have a 0% attendance, then next year to have a 50% attendance before gradually rising to 100%. That feels like it's more likely because the fiscal year goes to about October for Disney. So
that is rough. That is rough. Well, who's taking the back seat right now is Bob Iger, who got out in February. Was it February? Was it March?
Late February. Really though?
He's my hero.
I don't think he's taking it, but maybe from our perspective, but I doubt that he's just gone, okay guys, have fun, No,
of course. I know, of course. Yeah. I'm sure he's working very hard and he's probably still taking all decisions, but on paper, this is not his legacy. Yeah. This is all on JPEG. And
he's missing. Where is he?
And what comes next is on JPEG too.
Yeah, exactly. And JPEG's going to have to deal with the reopenings, with the numbers, with the financial results, with all of this.
So the next financial results are due in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks time, early May.
Early May, but for what period though?
That would be for
January to March.
Yeah.
Right. So it might not yet fully reflect because, especially in Disney World, people were literally all there on the last night.
I probably would spend less time when you look at those results and that earnings call. Probably spend less time on the numbers and spend more time on what do they say about recovery. Because they have to say something. They can't say nothing.
The analysts won't care about the Q2, and they'll be queuing up with questions about the future. So I think we'll get something up there.
Yeah.
They won't be able to give any kind of dates because this is just beyond them. It's beyond governments.
No,
it will just happen when it happens.
But in terms,
all right. Oh, did we lose Elliot?
Yeah, we've lost Elliot.
Chipek found him and cut the line.
Yeah. They're going to start dropping off one by one.
Click.
Are we back?
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
it broke up.
There's other
I was
news.
going on
That's
like a
good.
great rant, and then it went beep, and then like, okay, moving on.
Right. Is there any other news, Jeff? I feel like you have other
Yes.
news. Oh, okay.
There's two pieces of other news. There's the annual pass monthly payment thing, where they are not taking the monthly payments. They're pausing it until the month following the park's reopening. I guess that's because they probably charged people for this month, right?
No, they didn't charge people like from. I was meant to get charged on the 10th of April and I never got charged. So the last time I was charged was the 10th of March.
So I guess they charge people for March.
Yeah.
And then suspended in April, and they'll pick it up again the calendar month following. So if the parks reopen on like September 16th, they'll start charging on October 1st again.
Yeah.
You can reinvest on Disney Plus and flights to Asia.
This is kind of weird to me. I feel like they should have made it an option, because some people have said, I've seen on Twitter, said they'd rather keep paying now than have the payment stop, say if their pass was to expire in 3 months, and then get the extension. But I don't know.
So it sounds like what they're doing is they're saying, oh, we're going to extend it for the number of days the park has been closed. It sounds like you will still be paying even after you thought you would stop paying.
Yeah. But you're not paying now. It's
weird. I mean, no one
is
is getting, like, they're not getting the extension and not paying for a few months.
Well, no, they are, because they're getting the extension, but they're not paying, but then they will be paying during the extension.
Yeah, exactly. They're not getting the free extension. Like, they're getting extended, but then they'll be paying while they extend it. Whether people who have paid in full will get the extension for free. Obviously, they're not going to call you up. And
I thought they would just wanted a bit of cash flow during this time, but I guess maybe they've had complaints.
Cone is asking, didn't he give up 100% of his wage where Chapek only gave up 50%? Yes. So Iger gave up 100%, but also Iger makes like 10 times more money than Chapek, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But, no. So Iger gave up 100% of his salary, which is $3 million. They're not giving up the bonus, which is most of their income.
Iger makes money from the books and everything else as well, doesn't he? So
exactly.
He's doing all right.
Yeah. And that bonus is nice and fat.
Which I
I'm not
started
sure how
to read
nice
the
it will
books.
be this with no revenue from like theatre, no revenue from parks. I'm not sure.
Imagine
how
big the Disney Plus UK sign-up revenue generation must have been through all of this, because that literally debuted like a week into lockdown or something like that. So imagine So imagine how many families with like kids who are off school and all that kind of stuff have just signed up to Disney Plus. Like,
everyone.
5 million in the UK.
Yeah, I'd love to see like numbers.
It did 5 million on day one in the UK.
Wow,
5 million. That's half as many as the US.
I read an article that said in Europe it was 22 million in general in the European countries that they launched it.
Yeah. Good timing for them.
Excellent timing.
And also, like, good legacy for Iger. I mean, this guy has just, like, scored the whole thing. He wanted to open Shanghai Disneyland. That was one of his big goals. Expand internationally, like, revamp everything international. He did. And then he wanted to add technology. He did in the parks, and he did online.
Someone's reading the book at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, no, actually, that's from the masterclass that I've been watching as well. I'm like in Iger world these days. But yeah, and I started reading the book, and it's a really good book if you haven't read it. The first chapter.
It's a companion to the masterclass. They work nice together.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Yeah. But,
really
if you read the first chapter, it is a shocker. I was like,
it's brilliant.
I'm not going to spoil it, but like I needed a moment to recover from reading.
I was like
the first
crying
chapter.
on the train.
I was like, oh my god! I like gasped like 15 times, like what this guy has been through, what the company's been through, what everyone has been through when they opened Shanghai Disneyland. It's just insane, and we had no idea. We were just like, oh, look, pretty castle.
If you want a preview of what that was like, if you go to Audible, the preview is part of that first chapter.
Is it him reading
it's
it?
Iger reading it.
It's
Iger reading it.
He reads the first chapter and then somebody else carries on. But
Oh,
Oh, really? Oh, no. I thought he read the whole book.
No.
Because
No.
I was almost gonna.
Yeah.
I debated getting a free trial for Audible so I could get like his sweet voice on my sound system and read his book to me. But yeah, if it's just the first chapter, then
You ain't got time
I think
for
I'm
that.
just going to double check that.
sorry, Patrick, maybe.
Bob Iger, he has got other things to do. He ain't got time to sit and read his own book.
Do you know how long those audio recordings are?
I know,
It's got to sound alike.
and I guess like if you mess up, you have to restart from I don't know where the start of the paragraph or something. They probably do like several cuts.
Somebody called Jim Frangioni reads the whole thing. Iger just does some of it.
Oh, okay, well, I'll pass.
Let's
What
go to the
was-
preview though, because it is actually him previewing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I am so sad that he's like eventually going to leave the company by
Mm-hmm.
and it's
God help us all.
And it's noticed, but you know what? Now that all these crazy, unfortunate events are happening, I am kind of glad that Catherine is not in charge of
Right.
Disney parks, or even or obviously just being the CEO. But that would never happen. But because
She's
she's
slaying, taking her business online with Airbnb
I
experiences.
know
by
she's
Zoom.
living the
Right.
life at Airbnb and doing margarita classes in Portugal with drag queens, and I'm just here for it.
She deserves this.
She is. You can see the photo on her Instagram. She has a pink wig on, and she's just going for it. I know.
She was amazing.
She's
It's
amazing.
ridiculous, but great.
Yeah. And about the same time that I saw that, I saw the video of all the cast members and management saying happy anniversary. So that was a bit different.
Although I feel like if we had her still at DLP during this time, she would have been sort of like sending out videos and everything to keep people like motivated.
The thing is, I think that cast member video was obviously not really officially released because I don't know if they want to have sort of any public face
Publicity,
of anyone out
yeah.
there, characters, management. I don't know if she put something on her LinkedIn and it's just photos of I don't know, random castle and
attractions,
party and stuff. So I feel like they obviously keep it a low profile because you don't want to have.
It needs to be quite controlled. Yeah.
Weird. But hey, we're making a lot of noise with all the fans. We're here for it, so we'll carry it through.
Somehow we'll get through to the end of September.
Yeah.
We've got mug of the week, mug of the day. Sorry, we're okay for a while.
I
Although
live
for
for mug
like-
of the day. I look forward to that every day.
It's the hit of the week, really.
So you could do this for like most part of a year. You'd be fine. Just do it for the rest of the year.
I keep
kind of mad.
join in, but then I use the same mug like every day. I'm like, okay.
Now I wish that I bought all those times I talked myself out of buying that mug. Wish I hadn't now.
I can go for
Right,
about
so-
five more days, maybe.
All of my Disney mugs at the old house. So
You've got tiki mugs, though. That's a whole different type
yeah,
of
I'll just
coffee.
start.
Just have your family take
Coffee out of
photos
the
for
tray,
you.
something.
Just have them take
Yeah.
photos for you. I debated calling my parents and see if they could take photos of the ones that are in the cabinets in France.
They'd be like, what?
Good idea.
I had quite a good collection because when I went in '95, I was so obsessed because I had been denied for 3 years. And so finally, my godmother said, yes, I'll take you. And I was just obsessed with everything. Space Mountain, Sequoia Lodge, just all of it. I was just obsessed. I mean, not that, not much change, I guess, but it was a different level back then.
You're not anymore, and here you are on a podcast.
And here we are. There's a BA flight going over my house. This is really weird.
I
shocked.
had one yesterday, and I was like, huh? I was like, you still exist,
Remember planes? Oh, wow.
right?
Other news?
Thank you, Jeff, for
Disneyland
bringing it back
Paris.
to...
Eventually, we need to start talking about anniversaries, right?
Yes,
Right.
that's going to be in the next section. We have a special guest, so don't go anywhere.
So Disneyland Paris launched it at home. Disneyland Paris at home platform, which is kind of interesting. I think it's a nice idea.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Disney brands have done this.
Yeah, so it's got
reach,
I think a few like games and things for kids.
Oh, you can actually print out the castle and make it in your house. And I kind of want to do it.
Like, yeah, and there's a couple of different recipes. So weirdly, the English and French websites have different recipes because why not?
What recipes for Casey's
the
hot
English
dog?
one only had the one recipe, if I remember.
It has one recipe, yeah. It's the banana rum dessert thing
that was
from Captain Jack's.
I was like, who's
Oh,
doing
really?
that?
With alcohol?
Oh, I've got rum. I can do that. Let's go.
Send us your photos, Darren.
I can do it while I'm colouring in or something.
DLPR
Your mission by the end of the show.
lines.
Right. You'll hear the printer whirring in a minute.
And
But
the
someone
French
should do
flight
the
has,
castle, though.
I'll do it. I'll
remind
volunteer.
myself.
Sorry,
I'm
Jack.
trying to remind myself what the French site had because it was something that sounded pretty disgusting actually from Inventions.
Oh, great.
It's part of the
wasn't it like a lentil and coral like risotto thing?
yeah.
Yes, that classic iconic dish.
It looks like
They were like, oh,
looked
you can
like vomit.
celebrate the Frozen season like at home, like at the park. It's like,
Whereas in the US, they've released a Dole Whip recipe that isn't even the real Dole Whip recipe.
Well, why would they tell you how to make it at home when they want you to spend $6 on the
True.
I mean, I just want the cod soup recipe.
Ugh.
I want the mini waffle recipe. They're actually really nice.
so I'm on the website now, and it looks. I'm on the English version, and they have Sven's crunchy pavlova at the Silver Spur Steakhouse. So I clicked into it, and the whole recipe's in French. So
Well, classic.
even on the English
What
site.
else is new?
Seb says days are already depressing enough. Don't bring frozen season in my home.
Oh my
Snap.
god!
Right,
Snap.
let me send this in the chat. Like, look on Skype. Someone just put this on Facebook, and they've made.
This is great
the
audio for
castle.
all the people
Yeah,
who
okay.
are currently not
I
on
know.
Skype.
I'll tweet it out if you want me to. But
On the Mixler chat.
Oh, I don't know if you can put. I don't think you can
Can
put photos in there. I don't know.
right.
But
Plus it's
do
not great.
make the castle and then tweet it. And I
look at
think
Skype.
Seb should also make the castle. And do you have a printer, Seb? He'll tell me in the chat.
Look at that.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, there you go. Elliot posted in our
Yeah.
Skype chat, which no one can see.
It
Thanks,
looks great.
thanks, Elliot.
You know, like by September and the parks be closed, it'll be like, okay, here's some stuff I've done. Like,
Yeah.
gonna be
Take a selfie
When
with
we're
the
out of-
castle.
Yeah. So unless Jeff, you have another exciting news? No, are we good for news?
I think that's it.
Remember when we had like a laundry list of things to talk about? New shows, new season, restaurants. Anyway, so
Yeah,
we
Here are the
have
days.
a special guest, thanks to Darren. His name is Andy Garfield, and he is a composer, sound designer, media producer, but most importantly for our interest today, he was a part of the opening of Your Disney in 1992. I believe he was in a band, in the band that went through the castle. And so we're going to take a break with the second song, which is the 5th anniversary song. Not their best work, but hey.
Super long as well.
It's super long. It is 5 minutes, but we're going to need 5 minutes to add someone to the call and get all this set up, and also to eat some Easter chocolate. So we'll be back in 5 minutes with Andy, and that should be a really interesting chat. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Disneyland Paris, a world full of fun and fantasy. Come on along, we're ready for you. A Disney celebration is starting. It's the year to be here. Oh, oh,
récit de fantaisie. Tous les amis du royaume ici sont réunis. Alors rejoignez-les vite, cette année c'est parti pour un joli festival, la tête dans les étoiles. Disneyland Paris, 5 bougies de magie soufflées aujourd'hui pour fêter dans son pays imaginaire son 5e anniversaire. We're gonna have a party to last throughout the year. We're glad to have you join us to share some birthday cheer. No matter where you come from near or from afar, your dreams are gonna come true, just wish upon a star. Disneyland Paris, a world full of fun and fantasy. Come on along, we're ready for you. A Disney celebration is starting. It's the year to be here. A world of thrills, adventures and chills and spills. That's what you're after from music, singing, dancing, laughter. Come join the big parade. Disneyland Paris, 5 bougies de magie soufflées aujourd'hui, tous réunis pour célébrer, s'amuser et rêver. Disneyland Paris, a world full of fun and fantasy. Come on along, we're ready for you. A Disney celebration is started. It's the year to be here. A birthday something special, on that we all agree. A Disney birthday party will set your spirits free. It doesn't really matter if you're young or if you're old. It's time to start the party. Get ready, set, let's go! Disneyland Paris, 5 bougies de magie soufflées aujourd'hui dans ce monde, tout en couleur. Un anniversaire fait pour vous plaire, qui réunit ses amis. Kenny, Dingo, Pluto, Pinocchio, Daisy, Donald, Dick et Papa, le simple Peter Pan vous attendent impatiemment. Disneyland Paris, a place where your every dream comes true. Magic and lights, a Peter Pan flight to a wishing star that's shining. Disneyland Paris, a world full of fun and fantasy. Come on along, we're ready for you. A Disney celebration is started. It's the year to be here. Au pied de notre château, le jour c'est carnaval. Les fées s'amusent aussitôt, le soir sous les étoiles. Tout juste on a commencé, longtemps ça va durer. La féerie nous plaît bien, frappez dans vos mains. Disneyland Paris, 5 bougies de magie soufflées aujourd'hui pour célébrer, s'amuser, rire et chanter. L'année de toutes les fêtes dans ce pays animé. There's a world of fairy princesses, wicked witches, daring princes who conquer evil, save the day for their everlasting love. Disneyland Paris, 5 bougies de magie soufflées aujourd'hui, tous réunis pour célébrer, s'amuser et rêver. Disneyland Paris, a world full of fun and fantasy. Come on along, we're ready for you. A Disney celebration is started. It's the year to be here.
And we're back to the DLP Report Podcast Live. This was the longest song.
Oh, we've had a great chat during this song. We've learned so much.
Yes.
You missed a great chat.
Oh no! So, so
Well,
for
I
everyone
love
at home,
that song.
the
That's
way
an iconic song.
it is. I mean, yeah, it is. It's a bit like retro and I don't know. Yeah. It's mid '90s. It's definitely mid '90s. 5th anniversary.
They played it on loop. They played it on loop in Main Street on the morning of the 12th of April in 1997. It was just constant all the time.
Did you want to kill somebody afterwards?
Yeah,
I'm done
that's
with this place forever.
And they played it on the Eurostar as well. You came on the Eurostar and it would play in the station
Really?
as well. That was
Oh,
fun.
God.
Yeah.
So I think we have Andy on the line.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm here. Nice to see you guys. Or
Hi, Andy. Nice to
Hear
meet you.
you.
Nice to chat with you. It's kind of early for you. You in LA?
yes, I am. It's about 9:30, 9:45.
Awesome. Well, thank you for dialing in our little podcast. We do this every week now that we're all in lockdown. Usually it's more of a monthly thing, but got to occupy ourselves. So this morning, I think you replied to Darren and said that you were part of the Euro Disney opening.
I was.
So you walked through that castle on April 12th.
I did. I played trombone in the All American Marching Band, and I was in the front row of all the parades, including during the opening telecast, and the end of which we all ran up to the left of the hub there and up into the castle right at the end. And I was one of the first kids, and it was amazing for me because I grew up in Anaheim, near Disneyland, and I'd seen the old telecast of Disneyland opening in 1955 with all the kids running through the castle, and I got to do that, and it was one of the greatest moments of my life.
That's amazing. How did you get to do it? Did you was there a casting, or did they recruit in Anaheim, or how did it work?
So the All American Marching Band is still in existence today. They play at Disneyland every summer, and it's a college program mostly. That college kids that are in symphonic and marching bands can audition for all over the country and then come to Disneyland and play if they're chosen. But for the Euro Disney All-American Marching Band, they recruited kids from high schools all over the country because they wanted this huge band. And I think there were 350 people in the marching band, which is one of the largest ever assembled. And kids from all over the country. You could audition, or I don't remember what the audition process was, or even if there is one. I think it was just basically anyone who could afford to go could go.
Oh, they didn't even fly you over. You had to go. You had to get there by yourself.
Oh no, yeah, this was something you had to pay for sure.
Oh, interesting.
And my parents gave it to me as a gift. I was a senior in high school, and that was my senior gift and trip.
I mean, what a memory.
Incredible.
Amazing. You don't get to open a resort like that often, right? I mean,
But you didn't
It
just
only
open.
happened
It
6
wasn't just.
times.
Sorry.
sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, so it wasn't.
6 times.
It wasn't just opening the resort at the park. It was the Disneyland Hotel, wasn't it, as well? And
Oh, wow.
then with the Four Tops and the Temptations, and then at the park on the 12th in the morning as well.
Yeah, we were there. We were there actually 4 days before the opening, 4 or 5 days before the opening, rehearsing in these giant tents backstage, and out in these big parking lots and expansion pads for the park, and it was an incredible logistic feat that they pulled off, and in some ways they didn't pull off. It was kind of a incredible experience. I mean, I was one of the older kids there because I was already 18, and I had already traveled internationally because my mother was a travel agent, so I had some experience, being in foreign lands, as it were. And so I had all these kids that I was kind of in charge of. But the tour operators kind of screwed a lot of stuff up. I think they were kind of naive American tour operators and didn't realize that for instance, the hotel that we were staying in, the Hotel Ibis in East Paris,
Wow.
was in this very dangerous part of town. So we couldn't leave.
Especially at that time.
Yeah, we couldn't leave the hotel except to get on the bus for the hour-long ride out to the park every day. So
they didn't even put you in a Disney hotel.
Oh no! We all stayed in different hotels in different parts of Paris. It was not really well planned. And then the night of the actual opening, the buses couldn't get to us, so we ended up sleeping at the park after the park opened.
Where?
Exactly at the park. In the park?
Yeah, just like out in the backstage area, sleeping on the ground in the tent.
Oh wow! Which I'm sure now it's a fun memory, but back in the day that must have been quite stressing, especially
Outrageous,
for people who
I'll
were
tell you
not
what.
used to travel internationally.
We were so tired because for 4 days we rehearsed in March, and we had to learn all the formations. Like for instance, the opening of the hotel was really complicated because we had to split up into all these different groups under the hotel in the tunnels there, and then the drum majors, we had like probably 10 or 20 different drum majors, and they all had headsets on with the click track to the show, and so we had to just watch them and kind of play along to the track as best as we could.
I suppose musically these Disney songs are actually quite challenging, so to learn them all in sort of 4 days is amazing.
Right, and the arrangements weren't done until we got there either. And I think it was Tony Fox who did all the arrangements. He was the arranger for the USC Trojan Marching Band, and then Jim Christensen, who just passed last month. He was the representative from Disney who was there as the sort of a house arranger. But it was an incredible experience. We rehearsed that opening for a day, and then of the hotel, and then we actually did it. And I remember a lot of kids were just so tired. Just if you're in the back and you're not on camera, they weren't even playing.
I suppose because you're jet lagged as well. You've sort of landed in Paris. You've been thrown into this hotel in the east of Paris. Then suddenly 2 days later, you're opening a hotel with music you've never
and lots of
played
kids.
before.
Lots of kids were sick from the flight, and the jet lag and everything. And it was just. It was like being in the army, I imagine, or something.
It was quite complex, wasn't it? The opening of the Disneyland Hotel, because it say that there was the marching band, there was the dancers, the characters, there were cars coming in. There were all sorts of elements to it.
And like I said, there was a click track to all of this. Like a click, click, click with the tempo of the music that was playing on the telecast. That the dancers could hear, that all of the the TV directors were cutting to, and everything like that. So our drum majors had headsets on, remote headsets, and they were the only ones who knew exactly where we were in the show, and we just had to kind of like follow them along and guess and hope we were right.
I guess the technology back then was not as easy as now. You couldn't have everyone with an earpiece. It was kind of like you had to follow people telling you what to do.
Right. Well, you look at the 2012 Olympics, every single performer had an earpiece on, and that was, not possible in 1992.
But the most iconic moment was marching in out in front of the castle stage with the Four Tops and the Temptations on stage, and I'm so obsessed with that scene because you just walk so fast into that theatre area. It's an epic moment, I think. Did you get to rehearse with them?
I still remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, I really do. I really, really remember that because I was right in front of the stage because, like I said, I showed you where I was in that thing. I was right there.
Yeah, right there.
I was on the stage left flank, which is, if you're looking at the stage, the right. I was on that right side, coming down right on the edge of that path, and then right up on the stage. And then what's so funny is that like for something like that, it's over as quick as it begins because we basically were standing, all 300-400 of us, we were all standing and waiting on that path leading up to the amphitheater there, waiting for the cue. So we stood and we watched the whole show until it was time for us to actually march down and perform. And boy, you're right, we were moving really fast because it had to happen really fast.
It was perfect. Though. It's absolutely.
It was supposed to be a surprise,
Mm-hmm. And it was huge. I remember watching it on television back home, and it was just this big moment. And I don't know what you call them, the lead captains coming in together and just joining at the front there. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the drum majors. That was their idea
drum majors,
too.
Yeah.
That was their idea. They decided they were going to do that. It wasn't a rehearsed thing.
So did you get to rehearse with the Four Tops and the Temptations, or did that just happen live one time?
We did not rehearse with them. They had their own rehearsal facility, and I think they did a sound check, and then they went on. We had been practicing that piece, on and off with all the other pieces. It was actually very, very. It was one of the easier pieces to play because it's just da 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 da.
That was brilliant moment.
Did you get to? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, after you finished with your duty, did you actually get time to explore the resort or anything, or was it sort of all over before you could have imagined?
No, we did. The actual opening day, the next day, we got to experience the park on our own. So it was on the press day was the next day, and that's when we got to. If I recall, that was the day we got to explore the park, and there was. I think we have, if I'm trying to remember, we did have one free day. I don't remember if it was the press day, because there was the day where we did the show. And then I think there was the day after that was press day that was not open to the public. I think that was the day that we were allowed to explore the park.
Yeah. Everything must have been freshly painted and brand new
to that point, the whole 4 days leading up to it, you talk about fresh paint. They were painting the park. I remember walking through Frontierland because there were times where we had it's just like the rest of entertainment. It's all hurry up and wait. So sometimes we'd be like, oh well, we have 3 hours before they need us over here. So we would just wander around the park when we weren't supposed to. We were supposed to stay in one particular area or whatever, but everyone would just go off on their own and
everyone's too busy to care.
Yeah, and exactly, and there was no security to speak of. I mean, I saw Michael Jackson walking around by himself, and Elizabeth Taylor, and all these mega stars were there for the opening, and just wandering around on their own because the park wasn't open. So, and it was just all the entertainment crews and whatever.
Big A-list celebrities went to that. It's about right? I mean, it doesn't sound so much now, but I think it cost about £5 million to put on that night.
Honestly, I have no idea. That doesn't surprise me. But
yeah, which is a lot of money then.
So. In the days leading up to it that we were rehearsing, the crews were painting overnight. They had infrared lamps. On the buildings to get the paint to dry faster.
I remember reading in my book didn't they have some places have tents as well where they would heat the tents to try and get the paint to dry quicker.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting because that can hark back to Disneyland where they were finishing the same morning.
It's kind of a tradition, isn't it? I wonder if they were painting Shanghai Disneyland at the last minute, or if now they've sort of have a better time frame, timeline. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's building a theme park is an incredibly complex thing to do. I mean, I worked on the Warner Brothers World in Abu Dhabi for 3 years. I did about a third of the music for that park and half the sound. And I was there for the opening. I was there actually at my own expense, on vacation. And I was there 6 days before it opened, and I wasn't on the ground for 15 minutes before I was put to work mixing this or editing that or whatever. And we were doing it right up until the actual opening.
Gosh. So you went through the castle as the fireworks were going off, the ribbon being cut. You were going through the castle, and then you went through to Fantasyland. Were you then? Did you have to stand in Fantasyland, or were you ushered somewhere else?
We were all just screaming and yelling and hugging each other and jumping up and down, and our instruments in the air and everything like that. It was a really emotional. It was really emotional, not only that what we were doing, but what we had done. It was the culmination of 5 days of exhaustive work and no sleep and no food and no fun. And, we were just a bunch of kids, and it was just that was the end of the show, and we'd finally done it. And, I remember too is that a lot of us, we all stopped in the middle of the castle, in the atrium there. We were all stopping there, but there were 300 people still to come after us. And they had to push us through onto the other side. Like everybody keep moving, keep moving, keep moving.
Wow. and sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Was there a kind of sense at that moment of how huge the moment was?
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. I mean, it was, we all knew it was live television, and the fireworks were going off, and it was, there were fireworks, on the castle and around the castle. And, so it was, a little bit like a war zone too, with the pyro going off directly over our
in the
heads.
book I read, someone said that the pyro was actually like falling down on you guys as you were coming through.
Yeah, yeah. There, but it wasn't. We didn't feel unsafe. I never felt unsafe. It was just, it was
part of the excitement, I guess.
So exciting. Yeah, the adrenaline was, through the roof.
Because they really haven't sort of done anything since then as big as this when they've opened the park or anything. Like, sort of worldwide broadcast with all these A-listers. So it really was a moment.
It's definitely the last time they did that.
That is the biggest press moment for any park, I think. I mean, anniversaries are big and important, but I think you never get again to that level. Just like Shanghai will never get again to that level, or even Tokyo.
Shanghai didn't even have this sort of big opening as much. Sort of that was broadcast.
Shanghai had a toned down opening because of the whole stuff happening in Florida. If you remember, they had to tone it down.
Well, Shanghai had a big opening for China. I mean, it was a very Chinese. It was a very Chinese opening, with the, sit and watch show and the special pyro show and there was a special broadcast in China as well, but it wasn't the exuberant kind of Western
flamboyant
live extravaganza like they had.
Well, I think they were kind of mindful of that too, right? They wanted to make sure that they weren't coming off too strong culturally and not too American and not too, it's a delicate balance, I think, in China. Whether in Europe, they just went for it because, they thought Europe would embrace the park maybe a little more than they did. It was rough beginnings, but
for sure.
But the opening ceremony definitely was world class. Have you been back to the park since then? I'm assuming you have.
What's funny is that two years later, in 1994, I went back with my parents, and we had a vacation there. And that is the last time I was there. I was going to go again this spring. I have some clients in Belgium. Hi, Etienne, if you're listening. If I was going to come out there and we were going to go, I was hoping to see their Disneyland Paris with snow this year. But,
beautiful.
Maybe next year.
It is quite rare, though. I mean, all of us on social media, we make such a big deal out of it, but really, there's only about a couple days every year that is really bright and beautiful. Yeah. Then it melts and becomes more of a mess.
Hazardous.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier to us that you did a bit of work with Imagineering as well.
That for what?
That you did some work with Imagineering. Did you say?
Yeah. So while I was at USC, I had the great fortune of meeting a lot of really great mentors, and one of them was Glenn Barker at Imagineering, and he gave me a job there in the audio video department for about a year or so, and I basically was just sort of an assistant there for a while, but I got to be there. It was funny. It was a weird time. It was, after Disneyland Paris, before Animal Kingdom. So it was a lot of like weird corporate layoff kind of stuff happening.
Yeah.
But
do you sort of hear about all the projects that are going on as you're working there, or is it all quite confidential?
No, once you're in there and you're working there, you know everything for the most part. Wow. I mean, I saw all kinds of sculptures for the Beastly Kingdom part of Animal Kingdom that got shelved, and they were sculpting the Tree of Life and the all the safari rock works and things like that. I could walk through all of the top secret areas and whatever, like behind the black curtains, and see all these sculptors sculpting the yellow foam for the rock work and everything. It was really cool.
Amazing.
And I got to go to the recording session for the orchestra for the Spaceship Earth with Jeremy Irons.
Oh, no way.
Oh wow,
Wow.
that is such like a fan.
Yeah.
Do you know how many fans
walking around that building?
How many fans would love to be there for that? I
Oh,
guess
it's
we're
funny,
getting
it
a
was-
new
it-
narration soon, aren't we?
Yeah.
Sorry?
I guess we're getting a new narration for Spaceship Earth at some point.
I think it's going to be all new. I think it's going to be all new music and
Mm.
narration, and I think there's going to be a lot of new show scenes and augmentations of the show scenes and whatever. I mean, they're going to be closed for so long. It's going to be on even now. It's probably longer, so it's going to be like probably, I would guess, 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, you'll
That was gonna be
definitely
like a hefty
you definitely
renovation.
have to come and visit when the new extension opens at Walt Disney Studios because we're getting Marvel,
For
Frozen,
sure.
and all those things.
Andy, I've got a great idea though. The 30th anniversary is coming soon. Could we recreate this band, this marching band for the 30th?
Oh my gosh!
That's kind of my new dream now.
How many people do you know who were in the band? Are you still in touch with anyone?
Just a few of them. After we got back, we all went to our different colleges and universities and whatever. And I lost touch with most of them, but I think it's possible. I mean, I'm planning on going for the 30th anniversary for sure, barring any further global calamities.
Did you get to keep the uniforms, the outfits? Because they all had every band member had the same outfit, wasn't it?
I kept the shield with the big plastic shield with the D on it. So here's the deal with the uniforms. I say uniforms in quotes because we were all wearing our own band uniforms.
Okay.
With these overlays that they put on us, the capes and the shield and the spats for the shoes.
So most of it was yours anyway.
Huh?
So most of it was just yours anyway.
Right. So and I kept and it was just I kept that plastic fabric covered shield with the D on it, and unfortunately I had it in a storage space that I lost years and years ago. So unfortunately, I lost all that stuff.
Oh, it looked great though in uniform, all of them together. It was a really smart look.
Yeah, it was very effective. I mean, with all of the logistical snafus that the trip had in store for us, it definitely was mission accomplished for the opening.
Did you get to meet any other Disney execs like Michael Eisner or anyone else?
No. We were so separate. I mean, because I knew our partner and Tony Fox from USC, because I was going to USC that fall, I'd already met them, and I was from Anaheim, and I knew Buddy Baker and all this kind of stuff. I was singled out to be the one kid that was interviewed. We did a whole interview with what's his name, Pat O'Brien.
Wow.
So I hung out with Pat O'Brien for a while because I was interviewed as like the representative of the band. They were going to do a little package about the band during the telecast, and we recorded this whole interview with me as like, here's one of the band members of this, the band that you can see that's really blurry. And unfortunately, they never aired it. They were going to use it for like Good Morning America or one of the Today shows or one of those, but unfortunately, it never aired. But I got to. What the best part was for me is that I got to like hang out and not rehearse for like 2 or 3 hours.
Good, because there is that it's about 30-minute YouTube program that I linked you with last night. That's a complete behind the scenes look of what the marching band did.
What that is that was a VHS that we all got in the mail like 6 months later.
Wow.
And I think my mom still has that VHS somewhere. But I hadn't seen that, in 20, 25 years.
Really, it's an amazing watch. It's so incredible to watch that program. Yeah.
It was so emotional for me to watch. I watched the whole thing last night, laying in bed, like, quietly weeping.
You said, "I'm crying. I'm crying." I was like, I'm sorry.
It was very emotional, really emotional.
For sure, yeah.
Especially to see a young, handsome version of myself with all my hair.
It's a throwback, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone have any more questions, Jeff?
I just wanted to know. Sorry, I'm not Jeff. I'm
Patrick. Yeah.
I just wanted to know. So you've been to Anaheim before you went to Disneyland Paris. Your Disney. Did you go to Anaheim before? You knew the parks, I imagine.
Had I been to Anaheim before?
Yeah.
I grew up in Anaheim.
So you'd obviously been to Disneyland. So what was the kind of the feeling about going to your Disney? Was it like similar? Was it different? How was it like? What did you do? What was your kind of impressions knowing that you already knew a Disney park already?
Well, I mean, I've been to Disneyland hundreds of times before that. I mean, I literally would ride my bike there and hang out all summer. But I had been following it in various nerd outlets at the time, like Storyboard Magazine and others, and newspaper and other magazine articles about Disneyland Paris being designed and built and things like that, and also the National Fantasy Fan Club conventions, which is what turned into D23 kind of years and years ago. So, I mean, I'd seen like the castle, I knew about Phantom Manor, and I knew that it was a very much more artistic and richly artistic interpretation of the typical castle park. And I knew a lot about what it was, and I'd seen a lot of pictures and construction pictures and stuff. So, but to be there and see it in person, was, it's indescribable. It was nothing like it existed at the time. And to see such a beautifully artistic interpretation of this place that I already knew so well was, it's blows your mind, especially at a young age. I remember specifically being really dazzled by the incredibly detailed and intricate main street that they have there. That was, it's like the Disneyland and Magic Kingdom, Walt Disney World, Disneyland sort of like combined in terms of scale,
with the beauty of the arcades,
with the addition of the arcade on the east side. But it was just like there was so much more detail and story in each building, and it was I remember just being blown away by that. Also, I loved Phantom Manor. It was actually kind of scary at parts, with all the skeletons and whatnot, compared to the Haunted Mansions in the U.S.
Was that your favorite attraction, or did you have another favorite attraction at Disneyland Paris?
No, my favorite attraction was by far the Visionarium. The Timekeeper. I loved the Visionarium. I remember on the last few hours of my last day there, all I did was I went on the Visionarium like over and over and over again. Mainly because I love the music. The Bruce Broughton score was just incredible.
So you came from Anaheim and you went into Discoveryland for the first time. How was that, going into a land that is kind of familiar but a bit different?
Well, the Discoveryland is really different from the Tomorrowland at Disneyland. It's that sort of steampunk Jules Verne kind of, style. What was really interesting was to see the Hyperion blimp design in the Discoveryland. That I had seen the art for the Discoveryland, the Discovery Bay that was intended for Disneyland, where the Star Wars land is now. To see that it was a really cool thing to see how Imagineering can interpret a design from one thing into another, completely repurposed, for this, Tomorrowland, Discoveryland, as it were.
Yeah, ideas never die. You always see some concepts that are canceled and just pop up 10 years later somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyone else? More questions? No. Okay.
It's been amazing.
Well, thank you.
Probably so many, but
yeah,
another time.
Thank you so much
Should I check Twitter? See if anyone has any questions.
Sure. I mean, I haven't seen anything yet. Thank you so much for dialing in to our little anniversary live podcast. It was such a nice surprise. I'm so glad we connected with you. And don't be a stranger.
It was my pleasure, and it was very serendipitous that I happened to see that tweet and commented, and well, here we are. And thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And no problem.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Darren.
wonderful
for
to hear your
helping.
stories.
Yeah,
Take care, guys.
and we'll.
We just have a tweet from Rachel saying that this is the best Disney stories. Great guest today.
Thank you, Rachel.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we're going to take another music break, and we've done the 5th anniversary. Did we do the 10th anniversary? No, we do the 10th anniversary now. So this is the 10th anniversary song, which is actually the name of the track.
Imagination, Brad.
Yeah, they just didn't really. They were like, "Well, it's the 10th anniversary. We're just gonna have that song."
Wasn't it only one day that year? They didn't actually do anything for the year, did they?
Yeah, because the 10th anniversary was when they opened studios, wasn't it? So I think the spotlight was very much on Walt Disney Studios, and so Disneyland Park only had.
Regretfully.
They had like a scroll in the castle for about 2 or 3 days, maybe. It was this very, very ornate, amazing scroll that lit up at night, and it's only for a few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also added a float on the parade, but I can't remember for how long for. It was just a big cake.
It's a cake, before the Wonderful World of Disney Parade.
Disney Parade, yeah.
That's right.
But that's the one that had Mickey and Minnie black and white, right?
And the steamboat.
The best parade.
Yes,
it was
that's
good.
the one.
Yeah. All right, so here's the 10th anniversary song, and we'll be right back in 3 minutes.
10 years we've whistled while we worked
And had a laugh or two.
We walked with you upon a dream.
And watched our dream come true.
'Cause when we wished upon a star, then you appeared, my friends.
Now in our small world after all, the party never ends. The party where? We got invited. Of course you were.
Thank you, everyone. The Quizz song, it's been such fun.
We hope you agree.
Merci from Disneyland Paris.
Merci for good times together.
10 years now on to forever.
'Cause see the magic will never stop. So come and see. It's a birthday to be celebrated. Whether you are live or animated, in a world that you and I created. And Disneyland party. Thank you, everyone. We wanna thank you. The Quizz song, it's been such fun.
It's been such fun now.
Gracias, thanks, merci. Merci from Disneyland Paris. Merci for good times together. 10 years now on to forever. 'Cause see the magic will never stop. So come and see. It's a birthday to be celebrated. Whether you are live or animated, in a world that you and I created. And Disneyland party. Welcome everyone. Our celebration's just begun. It's just begun now. So stay home while your boots on feet. Merci from Disneyland party.
We wanna thank you now.
I love this little rap at the end, whatever that is. Was it the style in 2002?
We were literally just saying that. Like.
I mean,
Donald's quack.
I mean, whatever works. I also saw. I'll have to dig it up. Maybe I'll put it on Twitter or something. I saw an ad from the UK for I think the 15th anniversary, and it was just like the weirdest ad with weird music and kids jumping around.
Where it had
like
the,
some
Peter Pan music from the other studio.
From the live action one, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
But they used it
The
everywhere.
15th
They
was
used
so
the
weird.
candelabration.
Yeah,
Candelabration.
but they also used it on the Walt Disney World ads like about a year earlier or something like that.
Yeah, the red carpet, wasn't it? Flying through the streets and
Yeah.
things.
It was a really cool campaign. The
I love the
15th
piece
was
of
just
music.
stellar.
Yeah. Can we talk about how amazing the past
Which
half hour has been?
Wow.
Angie's
Yeah.
story were just amazing, and I was just captivated, and I just didn't want it to end.
It was like, I think Darren or Dan, I can't remember when you were introducing him coming on the podcast. I was like, okay, this sounds really cool. And then just the deeper you go, it's just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Like, so literally, before you put the 30 seconds thing, he was like telling us, like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I work for Imagineering," and then suddenly you come on, and we were like, "What?"
Yeah, it's amazing how many people were involved in the creation, in the launch, in the operation, and just making all
but
of this
also,
happen.
you know,
Just like,
He did this thing for the park on its opening day just as a marching band member because that was clearly his passion at that point. And he's carried it through to themed entertainment. Like,
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
pretty
I can't
impressive.
believe they made them pay for their own hotels and flights.
I know, yeah, you had to pay to get there. But I mean, it's not that different from performing arts who actually pay to perform in Disneyland Paris today.
True, very true.
So I guess they didn't get paid, but they got to be part of that amazing show, and you can put that on your resume, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can put out that the YouTube, the 30-minute show that he was talking about, the home video show, because it's the most fascinating watch, because you see behind the scenes of the whole opening ceremony and everything. It's a really fascinating thing to watch.
I have not watched the whole thing, but I will now. That will be my entertainment for after the show. So Patrick.
Oh, please don't follow up that massively bad quiz. Like, move on to something else. I don't know. I feel like that's like as good as the show. So thanks for joining us this week. Have a nice week, everybody.
I'm sorry, the music is
Next
already
week.
playing, which means it's time for the quiz with 1Z.
Next week is just us going crazy again.
Yeah, I know.
We've peaked now.
Yeah. Like, oh god. Welcome
Join
to
us
the
next
quiz.
week.
That's really terrible. I'm so sorry. Following that. It's literally like opening Disney on Paris and then following up that with Hong Kong Disneyland. You're like, okay, great.
Hong Kong Disneyland, be nice.
No, but still, it's never going to be as good. Anyway, okay.
It's like teleporting from Main Street to Backlot, and you're just like, ugh.
Oh my God.
No, just Patrick.
I'm sorry. I'm the personification of Backlot. Hi. So
What's
bad.
closed and
Let me
becoming
just get
something
some
so
more
much
wine.
more beautiful.
Oh god. Anyway, Darren, as I was explaining, basically the one thing that the only rule of this game is say your name when you want to say the answer. Ben hasn't mastered that yet, but maybe third week will be.
It's because I'm foreign,
there's an
okay?
art to this. Okay.
Say your name and then answer. It's not all the way around or just answer or just say your name. Anyway, okay, right. I've made some questions. These are all going to be so easy. But anyway, okay. Are we ready for question 1?
Let's go.
We're ready.
Okay, right. Which future president of France was French Prime Minister at the signing of the convention between the Walt Disney Company and French authorities greenlighting the construction
Ben.
of your Disney resort?
Ben.
Ben.
Jacques Chirac.
Yes,
Oh,
correct.
I was waiting for you to finish the question.
You know what? If they're easy questions, then scream your name as soon as you know the answer.
Okay, next question, number 2.
Fine.
What
Come on,
crop
Ben.
grown in the fields where Park Disneyland stands today?
Jeff.
Jeff,
Wheat, I think.
No, Ben.
Ben,
Beetroot.
correct.
Yeah.
Number 3, at the signing of the convention,
Mocking this
what gift did Michael Eisner give to the government and people
Jeff.
of France? Yeah, Jeff.
It was a frame, I think, of animation of the evil queen giving Snow White the poison apple.
Yeah, old tag. Well, great.
What a choice!
Fantastic. What a
What a choice!
could you
And
imagine?
didn't they want Mickey Mouse to sign the convention? Like, didn't they ask if that was possible?
Well, Mickey can hold a pen. I mean,
No, well, the French government said no, but
yeah, because you have to have someone official. You can just have like a performer.
I genuinely
Legal
think they wanted
document,
Mickey
a
Mouse
cartoon
to
character
sign the
can't sign
convention. Like, I genuinely think they wanted that. They tried to get that to happen.
Could you imagine, like Michael Eisner walking up to Hong Kong, like, here's a present. It's the old hag giving Snow White a apple. We're going to build a park in your country. Like,
Yeah.
like I understand the whole like tongue in cheek, but I'm kind of like, really, was that like really what you were going for here?
I mean,
Or like,
yeah.
or like the Walt Disney Company break the convention. Were like, well, like they come up. Well, Mickey Mouse signed it. Mickey Mouse isn't real.
Jeff, yes, he is. Shut up.
Reality. Okay. Question number 3 or 4. Which temporary site opened on December 5th, 1990?
Jeff,
Yeah.
Preview Center.
No, I want the name of it.
Oh, the Euro
Yes.
Disney
Oh, Darren,
Preview
Darren.
Center.
Darren.
Jeff, what is it?
The
Darren.
Euro Disney Preview Center.
Give it
No.
to Darren.
Darren.
I'm literally. And was it Espace Euro Disney or something?
Oh, well
Espace.
done.
Yes, yes.
There you go.
They
Uh,
only knocked that down kind of recently, by the way. Like
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
ago.
Did they?
It's still there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Where?
a
shell of the building,
abandoned
yeah.
and derelict and just full of graffiti and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But where is it?
Was
Like outside the circle or in the circle?
Yeah. So it was outside.
Oh, outside. Yeah, very outside.
This question is going to sound really like easy, but I made it last week when none of us had been, when we hadn't just done the previous part of the show. Of the hotels present at the resort at the time of opening, which one was the last one to officially open?
Oh.
Elliot.
Elliot.
The Disneyland Hotel?
It was correct,
Hey.
because that was when the band thing happened.
Why?
But they had the band.
Yeah,
They had the media and
Oh,
all the
right.
press. Yeah.
opened, and Festival Disney opened on the 10th of April, and then the Disneyland Hotel opened on the 11th.
Was there a dog?
Sorry,
I was going to say that's
my
Woody
dog.
answering.
Woody. Imagine someone staying at like Newport Bay or the Kent, like with no park, like woo, the hotel. That would be us, but like
They
Um,
had this whole like thing, didn't they, on the lake that night?
yeah, and they had like the whole
Oh,
fantasy.
Little Mermaid, wasn't it?
Yeah, King
Yeah.
Triton stuff.
King Triton, that's it.
Those pictures are insane. I would love
Yeah.
for that to be like a thing now.
Yeah, and when I went even in '95, the hotels I felt were in such better shape. My first hotel was Cheyenne, and it was just like really perfect and beautiful. And the whole road in the middle wasn't concrete yet; it was like dirt, and they
Oh,
had,
that's
like,
kind of
that like
bad.
2 years ago.
they had all those like theming elements and everything, and just the rooms were just super fun. It was good times. Anyways,
Okay.
next
Oh,
questions.
Next question. On April 11th, 1992, which duo presented the ITV special Euro Disney, the grand opening?
Darren,
Darren.
come on. Is this the UK? Did you say?
Yeah, UK.
Oh,
UK.
well, it's Pat Sharp and Matthew Kelly.
It was,
Our friend
yeah.
Richie, our friend Pat Sharp.
Our dear friend.
I remember
Tonight,
when we were in,
Matthew,
we were in
I'm
the
going
park
to
and we
be-
took that photo and we tweeted it and like Pat Sharp liked it and you guys lost it.
I know every year
tweets it,
it's a
obviously.
thing now. Every year that he tweets us, or we tweet him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Doesn't it? We're gonna get
There
the,
he
get the outfit.
Every year he's like, oh, they're not going to do it again, are they?
He's
Why
an
do they
English
keep
TV
doing this on
legend.
April
He's a
11th?
legend.
April 11th every year. Why?
Crazy people.
Okay, which American queens of pop sang songs on the Video Opera stage during the grand opening show on April 11th, 1992?
Elliot.
Darren,
Yeah.
Cher.
Cher, and another one?
come on.
No.
Ben, Liza Minnelli.
No.
Just from our previous chat, I'm reusing the information.
Darren?
Tina Turner.
Yes, there you go.
Ah.
yes.
So what
Down to
happens
it.
now? Do you do half the points for each, or how does
So
it
you
work?
get 1 point each. There you go.
Yeah.
So Darren has 3 points, Jeff has 1, Alia has 2, Ben has 2, and Richie is yet to score. Okay, next. According to figures stated at the time, how many people were in attendance at the grand opening gala on April 11th, 1992?
Oh shit!
I got lost halfway through that question. Can you
According to
repeat the
figures,
question?
according to figures stated at the time, how many people were in attendance in the park at the grand opening gala on April 11th, 1992?
April 11th.
I guess we're just going to have to start with guesses.
5,000?
No, well, they said it during the show, Darren, so I thought you would know.
I was too busy tweeting stuff. I wasn't really paying attention.
Well, does anyone have a guess, or will I just tell you?
5,000.
Not 5,000, it's more.
Ben, 15,000.
More than 15,000.
Oh,
Richie,
25,000. Okay.
Richie, sorry.
50,000.
Oh, Richie's the closest so far. I think I'm just going to give it to Richie. It was 45,000. So there you go.
Wow.
There's a lot of
Gosh.
people.
Yeah, there was
big
a lot.
up.
But I
Yeah.
guess they were quite spread out, sort of Castle Stage, Videopolis,
Well,
Main
When
Street.
you look at the hard ticket capacity, even now
Yeah.
for the park, it's about 35,000 they try and get in. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
like-
of people.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, next
Currently,
one.
that sounds like a lot of people in one place and kind of giving me anxiety.
Yeah. Triggering us. Like,
Is there a meter between all these people? So, next one. In which year were attractions based on Beauty and the Beast and the Little Mermaid touted to arrive at your Disney?
Ben,
Elliot.
Ben,
1994.
correct. Oh, that's hard. To stop
and
now.
then
I watched the
steadily
video
got
earlier.
Storybook Land.
Was
Yeah.
that,
And we got
And
Indiana
the
Jones
videos
and the
are
Temple of
different.
Peril and Storybook Land. Fantastic.
Not quite, because Indiana Jones and Temple of Peril was a year before.
No, I mean, like in 1994, what did we have? We had
Oh, right. Yeah.
and Storybook Land. Great. Okay, on opening day, who was president of your Disney SEA?
Jeff,
Jeff.
it was Philippe. Is it Bourguignon?
No, he
Oh.
actually replaced him. So that's
Was this the?
Ben.
Did you say the
he
opening?
was an American guy.
Ben,
on,
Was it?
on opening day, who was
Ben.
president of your Disney SEA? Ben?
Ben. Was it Patrick Fitzgerald?
No,
Yes.
no, that's no.
Is that wrong?
It's kind of right, but you was name in the wrong order.
Oh, damn it. Am I not close enough?
No.
No, it's Robert Fitzpatrick.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Same.
I thought you were right, Ben. I thought
It sounded
So-
right.
yeah.
Okay, next. Find the odd one out. Between the three propositions, which one is the odd one out? And it's for the reason that's written on my screen, not for like some of the reason that you're probably going to think of that I don't.
Boy.
So, between the find the odd one out. Constellations, Lily's Boutique, and Sir Mickey's.
Jeff,
Jeff.
is it
Oh,
Constellations?
no, I know.
Because
Richie,
it's
Richie.
still-
Ben. Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Richie,
It's not Constellations, Richie.
Lily's Boutique, because that's not an original opening day store.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
good.
used to be part of Waltz. It was the
Yeah.
That's
downstairs.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Downstairs
Oh,
dining room.
man.
Yeah.
Richie.
I was going to say Constellations because it still has its 1992 window display.
Richie,
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
for a bonus point, can you tell me the full name of Lily's Boutique?
Oh, it's like Lily's Boutique and Home somethings or
Ladies
Yeah.
Boutique Bar and Grill.
No.
I would've-
Lily's Boutique,
that's the
Unique Century Notions.
Ladies Boutique L'Aventure Totalement Toquée de Walt.
No, the Lily.
I don't know actually the full name though.
It's. Does anyone know? No.
No.
Lily's Unique Boutique, New Century Notions.
No, it's Lily's Boutique items for a sweet home. I feel like Richie was almost there because he knew there was home in it. By the way.
It's about home way, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. On opening day, what was the name of Restaurant Hakuna Matata?
Jeff,
Jeff.
Restaurant des Épices.
No, that's incorrect.
What? No.
I'm so confident.
Snap. Who is eating?
I don't know.
But if it's.
Yeah, I don't think we know.
Does anyone know? Does anyone know? No.
It was like African something or African.
Yeah, well, when I saw on Daisy Peace isn't a million times wrong, but it's not correct, and it's Osé Peace Enchanté to the enchanted spices.
I knew it was something spicy.
God,
There you go.
that is a shit name.
What
And
mode-
now I have to think of a different question for the upcoming couple of days for my Twitter. Damn it.
Right.
You stole it.
What mode of transportation did Mickey and Minnie take on the float for the Disney Classics Parade?
Darren.
Darren.
Damn it, I know.
It was a Zeppelin, wasn't it?
Mm,
It was a rocket type Zeppelin.
Ben, was it a hot air balloon?
No, let Darren. I feel like it's not really a Zeppelin, Darren. It's kind of like an. Well, I didn't see it as a Zeppelin, but I'm going to give it to you anyway because I don't want to have a fight. I thought it was.
Fight.
Let's fight. Yeah.
If you said it was a Zeppelin, I'm giving you the point, but I thought it was an airplane. Anyway, okay.
The balloon, though, was, I think, the one for the 15th, which I've forgotten. Just like
Yes, that's right.
the
Yeah, 15.
Dreaming something, I don't know.
Once Upon a Dream parade.
That's
yeah.
the one.
I think
Yeah,
the
balloon-
gummy bears. The gummy
The
bears.
Gummy
were in,
Bears
like,
planes.
They were.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the gummy bears planes. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, that was the best float. That was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
In an interview with French magazine Le Point, Michael Eisner famously said when discussing the future of the resort that anything is possible today, including what?
Jeff,
Yep.
budget cuts.
Uh,
Sorry, I didn't know, so I had to just joke.
you're not far wrong, to be honest. So this is just to give context. This was in 1994.
Richie,
Richie.
bankruptcy.
Oh, you're really close, but it's not. Elliot.
Closure?
Yes, it's correct. Yeah.
Ash said the railroad reopening. I was gonna say a president's taking a video in front of urns.
No,
This is deep enough in the podcast that no one from Disney should be listening.
well, the railroad opening. What's a railroad? I think is Disneyland Paris' answer to that question. Next, which Imagineer was the executive designer for Space Mountain de la Terre à la Lune at Disneyland Paris? Jeff.
Tim Delaney.
Correct. And the last question, everyone gets to have a go at the last question, even though...
Do we not have to say our names?
Is it a
This is like
numbers
my
one
favorite
again?
question.
It's a numbers question, so everyone gets
Yay!
to go. Yay, I know everyone. How many days have passed since the park's official opening on April 12th, 1992?
Oh,
Oh my god.
good lord.
Darren, what's your guess?
Oh, no. Why me first? Oh.
Okay,
No.
Jeff, what's your guess?
No, wait. So,
Are you
Jeez.
counting open days, like other days that we've been closed for? Do they count?
No, I want just days in general.
80,000 days.
80,000. Guess.
800,000.
I was going to go 10,000.
10,000.
I'm gonna say 9,000.
I'll be
Elliot.
honest, I'm just guessing.
I got like 10,200.
Oh, that's a bit.
Oh, he's Googled that.
Yeah, well, are you reading the chat? Because Ash said 10,230-ish. Ash, you used a calculator or something.
Okay, I'm getting a
I'm going to
calculator
guess.
out.
Yeah, my guess is 10,227 days. There's my guess, Elliot.
That's boom
I
on the
used a
money. Well
calculator.
done,
No
Richie.
one said it's against the rules to use a calculator.
Oh, did you
This
use a
is-
calculator, Elliot?
This is anarchy, lawless land.
Can we just disqualify Elliot for this calculator
I
use?
used a
Yes.
calculator.
He still didn't win, so it's fine.
You definitely used a calculator.
So actually, pulling up the rear this week is Jeff with 2 points. Elliot, Ben, and Richie are on 3 points, but our winner is our guest, Darren.
Oh,
with 4 points. Congratulations!
thanks so much.
Well
Do I win a
done.
mug?
You have the move already.
I don't have a mode that you don't have to offer you, so no.
Ah, that's a good answer. Yeah.
You can have more DLP report badges when I see you.
I was going to say the best guest award, but sorry, you brought on this best guest.
I know.
You ruined that one.
I feel like there's pressure to have someone on next week. We have 7 days to figure it out.
Just gonna call
Francesca.
Tony Baxter. Give me a moment.
I know. Maybe Eddie Soto. I'll call Eddie because I've interviewed him before and he was really nice and maybe he'd be up for it. Let's see.
I think he'd be up for it.
Yeah.
That- I think you need a DLP report mug.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, a DLP report checkbook and pen, like blankety blank.
Did anyone ever wonder if you could actually use that as a proper checkbook and pen? Because I did when I was little. I was like, can I check this? Have
What
Lily
bank
Sam's
is the checkbook
signature
linked
on
to?
somewhere?
Okay, so who is the winner? Oh, Darren. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Ben's
Thank you.
like sitting around going, why are they talking
Yeah.
about checkbooks and pens?
Yeah, I don't know because obviously I can't hear what you guys are talking about during the break, so I come back and then everyone has like inside
Oh, this is
stories.
Inside
everything to do with
joke.
break. Everything to do with blankety blank.
Match game in the States, maybe you've heard of it. I don't know.
And everyone on blankety blank won a checkbook and pen.
All right then.
Well, that joke fell flat, Jeff. Sounds like, okay, just put the music on. It's 15th anniversary.
Somebody out there knows about the checkbook and pen.
Oh wait, are we at 15 now or are we at 20? No, we're at 15. Oh god.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15. The
15.
good one.
15, the good one, just like we dreamed it. Once upon a dream parade. All right.
This was my first ever Disney parade. Just saying.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
You're a child.
No comment.
Elliot, when was your first visit?
2009.
Oh
my
Play the
gosh.
music. Play the music.
Yeah, play the music. And when we come back, we're all going to be sharing our Disneyland Paris anniversary memories. So,
Well,
gather-
Elliot's got two to choose from.
I know.
So.
I'm really made up for lost time.
You can just listen and learn. All right, we'll be right back after Just Like We Dreamed It.
I feel really bad.
It's not playing. Hold on.
Oh,
Come a little closer. Come a little closer. Turn another page in the story of what's waiting for you.
Step into the wonder.
Step into the wonder.
Everything you pictured as it comes into view. Once upon a time, used to be long, long ago. Used to be far, far away. Look how far we've come today.
Once upon a time, it's suddenly right here and now, right before our eyes. This happy ending's just beginning. It must have by surprise.
My surprise,
It's just like we dreamed it. As far
And we're back on the GLP Report podcast, just like we dreamed. It's such a good song. I forget. You know when you don't listen to them all the time, you kind of like, oh man, this was a winner.
Great song.
Do you know my favorite memory of that song? You know the beginning where it's like the little chime.
Mm-hmm.
So between Fantalusion and at
This
that
one.
time it was Wishes. I can't hear it for sure.
Oh, you can't hear it. Sorry.
But they kind of did like a really interesting like dreamscaping mix that lasted about 5 minutes from the end of Fantalusion to the beginning of Wishes. And it was just so perfect. You just be like,
I like the
stood
idea. That's
on
nice.
Main Street and you just have like ding, 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 ding. And it's like, oh, this is nice.
So obviously
That's cool.
we've had a lot of memories from the opening from our special guest, but does anyone remember the opening? Was anyone there in '92? No.
Nope.
Yes.
Darren?
I was there. Yeah, I was there in '92. But about 2 months after it opened, I went.
Still close enough.
Do you remember?
Close enough.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Like, what was your? Did you just like? Had you been to a Disney park before? And did you just walk in and like your like jaw dropped? Like, what? Do you remember?
I was so overwhelmed because I'd been to Florida and then been to Paris, and of course, as we were saying, it was so hyped up. The hype around the park was so huge, and the expectation was so great. And just walking in, the jaw definitely dropped, and it was just the detail. I could really appreciate the detail even then, and it was just stunning. Everything was so new and perfect. It was a really special time to visit there. Yeah.
But you told me that hardly any of the cast members spoke English, so you had trouble getting around.
Yeah, that was a problem for the first year or two. For me, not for them so much. But that interaction wasn't quite there. It took a long time to bed in and get right, and you kind of accepted it a little bit. But having been to America, been to America and then gone there, there was a difference. Yeah, for
28 years later, I mean, we're still
Get
somewhat there. Still working on it.
My questions, you might not even remember this, but I'll try it anyway. So we obviously often talk about how the Disney culture has not really been in Paris cast members, and maybe it's starting to come through because of the whole generational thing, and the Disney culture is becoming our culture as we go. What about '92? Did you have that feeling that this is not really the Disney way or anything like that?
You did. I mean, it was very strange. I always tell the story of when there was always a translation for everything. So even on a menu, a croissant would be white bread. There's always that strange translation. That actually happens.
Cheesecake.
Yes, yeah, exactly. They always had to translate it and make. But yeah, there was somewhat of a cultural difference. But for me, it was kind of accepting because the product was so incredible then. The product was fantastic. That entranceway to the Disneyland Hotel, the first time you do that, of course, it's epic. But yeah, the cultural difference took a long time to translate. Yeah.
And you couldn't have any wine back then. Also, when it opens.
No, that didn't come
beer,
in until quite late, quite a few years later, wasn't it? I think. Yeah.
When they were quite desperate to
desperate, yeah.
They were desperate to appease the French and like trying to throw anything at them for them to keep coming back. Like, please don't leave.
That was the whole like cultural snobble thing. It was like, oh, they don't understand us, and it was like, okay, well, how do we do small fixes to make that work?
I mean, when you look at how they opened Shanghai just a few years ago, like this, I feel like the stigma and the trauma is still very much within the company of what happened in Paris. They were so scared and so careful.
Distinctly
Chinese, authentically
Disney,
or the other way.
It's because they walked into Tokyo and dumped their exact same product there, and they kind of ate it up. So they thought it would be exactly the same.
That's because that's what
everywhere.
the OLC wanted. The OLC basically went to Disney and went, I want that.
But it's funny because like the French government had put a lot of clauses in the convention. I mean, I guess they were kind of like silly clauses of having like a number of French flag and French speaking songs and French, signage and all this kind of stuff. But I feel like this kind of missed the mark because this is not really what it's not really what it's about. It's not about like how many French flags you're going to see. I feel like they were more seeing it as more like a cocky type of way, as really you have to see it more deeper culturally way.
I agree and also disagree because all of that French fussy thing in the convention actually led us down to Discoveryland as it was. So the Visionarium was actually in the convention. They had to do a 360 show about France. They had to do all of these things because this was the way. Like we wanted a land.
This is
all
the way.
about
This is the way.
Spoken.
But they wanted a land all about the European visionaries, and that was mandated, and that led to what is still, despite the fact that they have completely bastardized it, a wonderful land.
Yeah.
I think Visionarium was my first attraction I went on.
Wow.
I love the
I
Visionarium.
had vivid
it was really
memories
cool.
of it as a child, like
Do
really,
you?
really vivid memories
Oh.
of like the 360 theater. Yeah,
I remember walking in that theater. I remember exactly where like Timekeeper was. Sort of like you walk in and he was like to your right at the back of the theater, and all the screens around, and just this show building worked so well for it. Obviously, it's custom built for it because it was round from the outside and round inside. You could just like it was just perfect. And then
you had all the translation headsets on the side.
oh yeah,
So if you wanted
and they
to
had
watch it,
like
you had to sort of-
That's some like metal bars in the middle, maybe. This is where all the
Yeah.
Yes, they had
were.
leaning bars.
Yeah, it's a
wasn't
lean
it?
on.
Leaning
That's right.
bars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
A question that is going to make me sound like a noob, but if the Visionarium was in the convention, how did they get around retheming it to Buzz?
Good
I
question.
ask myself that question a lot. I have looked into it, and I cannot find a way they've got around it. Because
I just did it
the
and
whole
no one had
the
a question,
convention was. the
Was it
convention
not for like
stated
just
that
a
it had
number
to
of
be
years or something? Maybe it expired. The clause, not the convention, obviously.
But the clause was for a 360-degree show. Perhaps they got around it by saying, well, do you know what? Look, we've invested in all of this stuff. And the French government may have come back and said, well, if you invest some more, then you can do what you want.
Yeah, I mean, Disney is really good at bargaining with the French government because when you see the latest, rewriting of the convention, they've definitely thrown in the $2 billion investment in Walt Disney Studios to be able to,
which is good for us.
But I mean, the convention is signed, but then like a number of years later, you can bargain again and just say, well, listen, we're going to do this. Can you let us go with that? And then it's a negotiation, I guess, just like every agreement.
But that original Discoveryland, at least a Discoveryland from my first visits, was just phenomenal. You have the Data à la Lune, which was great, and the Visionarium, which was also great. And everything just worked together in this really nice, cohesive way, and you don't have that anymore.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, I would say just one thing about Discoveryland is that Star Tours and the back of Discoveryland was never really fitted in the land.
No.
It's too bad because there's no reason that they could I feel like they could have just made that building steampunk or at least a little bit more like Videopolis.
But right now you have these nice lava lakes, and you walk in, you've got that nice Discoveryland sign, which is really great. And you've got Orbitron in the distance, and then you look to your left, and there's a cardboard cutout of Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah. And I mean, there's definitely this
always
bottleneck as well. We always end up getting stuck across some Constellation because people are queuing for their crap on the right side, and people are coming out of Buzz on the left side.
It never was a bottleneck because for the Visionarium, you could just wander in.
Yeah, because no one was going there.
Yeah,
constant flow.
There's been rumours for years that Imagineering wanted to sort of change that Buzz facade. But could this refurb, could it actually come back with a different look?
No.
The problem is not the facade, the problem is the attraction.
Sadly, I've seen the concepts, and they are exactly the same with a few different colors.
Oh.
Yeah, they're exactly the same shape and all stuff. Yeah. Sad times.
I would be really happy if one day they, like they do in the Tomorrowlands in the US, and they just look at Discoveryland and go, okay, well, we've done something here that we probably shouldn't have done. Let's fix it. I think we're a long way off that,
Yeah.
maybe like 10 or 15 years or something like that. But I think one day they'll look at Discoveryland and go, something just doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, we still have some really nice pieces. I feel like compared to some of the other Tomorrowland style lands, like we don't have the worst one. I mean, like Disneyland is a bit rough, and even Disney World is just a bit disjointed. And now they're adding Tron, and they're trying to rechange all the theming. And I mean, it's going through the changes right now. It's like the menopause of Tomorrowland over there.
But we did have a Tomorrowland, Discoveryland, that kind of defied and broke the problem with all the other Tomorrowlands. They just sort of went, okay, let's make this a Tomorrowland of the past, of the future seen from the past. And
Absolutely.
it just works as an idea. That's a brilliant idea.
Absolutely. It's such a good idea. And this is what makes me so mad when they did Mission 2, is because no, this the story they went with is like, oh, we're gonna take the Jules Verne story, but we're taking you further. No, you're not. You're putting some like cheap space crap from like the Tomorrowlands in the US into the story. You're keeping half of it. You have this like modern, like you have all those like nebula posters in there, but then
it was like big boulders with projections. It was awful.
it just doesn't make any sense. I feel like there was a way to continue the Jules Verne story and to
And they
revamp
ripped
the
out that
attraction
beautiful music.
without ripping out the whole essence of the attraction. Like, why just like pump in some stupid space stuff in it? You could just, of course, Jules Verne didn't write a sequel, but you could imagine a sequel. You Imagineering, like from De la Terre à la Lune, just imagine a sequel to it. Like maybe.
But also, when you're queuing now for Hyperspace Mountain, you go through all of these really elaborate sort of rooms, still themed to Jules Verne, and it's like, okay, this just does not fit because I'm about to go onto a Star Wars ride. Why is this a thing?
Yeah, I mean, for any guest who doesn't know the history, they're probably just like, "Ooh, what is this? Why is this Star Wars attraction looking like like, anyway?" And you know that room that you go through right before you get down the stairs with the blue ceiling. All the stars have the initials of the engineers who worked on the attraction.
Yeah, and
It's like
I don't know. That whole thing is just dumb.
Anyways, moving back to the anniversaries, who remembers the 5th anniversary?
I do. Yes, I do.
Darren. So funny enough, I don't know. Like I'm
Were
confused
you there?
because I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
But not on the day. But I visited during the year.
Remembers the 5th anniversary. Ben doesn't remember it apparently.
No, but like because I've definitely been in '97, like for sure. So because I remember the castle, the castle overlay and all the Hunchback
Carnival Castle,
stuff.
yeah.
So I remember that, but I was not there for the actual day. But it looked from the video that it was like were you there for the actual day?
I was, yeah, and it was a
It looked like a giant carnival.
It was a spectacular day on the actual 12th of April. Yeah, so I mean, I saw the concept art that you put out today. That was, yeah, I saw that before, and everybody freaked out. I remember everyone saying, "No, that's crazy," and then you see it in person. It was pretty spectacular how they did that.
Yeah, it wasn't as crazy. I mean, the castle bridge was not like a giant mouth that you were walking into, which was kind of like the scariest part of that concept art.
Yeah,
It was like
scary concept
It was like
art,
some giant, scary, like fool dude with 2 giant hands on each side. You just walk through his mouth, and I was like, "Oh God, why?" Yeah, but I mean, you know what that reminded me? That reminded me of the last Halloween show on Castle Stage, the sets. It's like that weird, scary looking thing. That you're like, why? Who has hurt you? So
I love that this is just like a thing. It's like, why?
Yeah, why? And this is like my questions about Disneyland Paris.
But the thing with the 5th anniversary was everything gelled together so well. The theme, the Hunchback theme, was brilliantly displayed across the park. You had the bells in Central Plaza with the moving gargoyles on top. You had the castle, all the lampposts down Main Street had little jester hats on them. It was really cute how they did it.
But
And
No,
Paris,
everyone
I mean, it
Disney.
fits so well.
We get to see it.
Yeah.
Well, Paris had this thing that for a while they did these movie tie-ins, but they did not feel like they were forced. Like even the Hunchback of Notre Dame stuff, it never felt forced. Then they went straight in and did a Toy Story 1, which again didn't feel
Before they
forced.
did Aladdin as well, didn't they?
Kind
I'm
of.
sure
That was the
feel
thing.
Like, I've seen
That was the
videos of,
thing
like,
where they
100
gave away a
genies.
car. Like
Did they really?
They did, didn't they? They gave away a Renault car, didn't they?
every
Yeah.
day they gave away a Renault car.
With
Every day.
Aladdin's quiz on Castle Stage, was it? I think. Yeah, that's right.
Screw being picked for the family of honour, like get picked for the car.
How weird.
But on the 5th anniversary, on the 12th of April, they had this huge sort of cultural parade of carnivals from all the neighbouring countries through Europe, and the Queen's
cool.
Guards marched down Main Street with the
wow.
band and everything, with their
That's
Busby
really
hats
cool.
on. It was the most amazing, crazy sight of all these various carnivals from around the world marching down Main Street, and then streamers, and there was a fly past of planes and everything, which was very cool. It was probably like the first time Disneyland Paris had really kind of celebrated themselves for the 5th anniversary.
Hmm.
It was quite a big moment for them. I
Because the
thought.
1
And it
year was just kind of like, hey, they did a cake castle for the 1 year.
We survived.
yeah, the Castle Chateau, the Chateau Gâteau, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember how for the 21st anniversary, I think it was, they released a pin of the cake castle? I still have that.
Did they really?
Wow, God.
Yeah, I have two of them actually lying around. I saw them the other day. They released it as a celebration of the 20th anniversary of the first anniversary. It was a weird idea. Cool, but weird.
Oh
GLP merchandising for you.
yeah.
Richie, don't answer that.
gone.
Is he gone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had to go get dinner, which I guess he's in charge of cooking for himself. So, anyway.
So the 10th anniversary, there wasn't really that much going on, was it?
That one song.
It was a bit plain.
I'm sorry,
They-
I'm eating my Easter egg at the same time. I should not be doing that.
Yeah, on the
But,
day,
I mean, they did open another park.
they did do something on the 12th of
A
April in the
quarter of a
morning.
park.
It was really basic what they did, but they had like a castle. No, they had a cake stage in Central Plaza, and the characters came on, and I think they had the
vaguely remember this.
and the children came on who had grown up with the park. They do this occasionally. They bring out the kids who are the same age as the park, and they sang "Happy Birthday," and there's lots of streamers, and that was it.
Have you missed a notable anniversary, Darren?
I don't think I went for the actual 15th. I went during the year, but I wasn't there on the day of the 15th.
Darren.
Shocking.
What, with Miley Cyrus?
Was it mine? It was, wasn't it?
It was for the
Oh,
20th, for the
yes.
15th. Yes, it was Miley Cyrus.
That's
She
right.
did a whole weird performance. They had this float with a slide on it for no reason.
Oh, I want to see a video of that. How have I never seen that?
It's Miley Cyrus, of course she had a slide.
Well, this is in her days where she was like just from Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
But they made this bizarre float. If you ever look it up, it's so strange. So they have this, I don't know. There was just a giant slide on a float that made no sense at all. It was not
15th
even
anniversary,
used.
Miley Cyrus. 25th anniversary, Terry Hatcher.
Was it?
Magic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 And
I still remember that I was there.
Not John Lennon. John
Legend.
John Lennon.
yeah, John Lennon.
So, but wait. So, Walt Disney Studios opened also on the 12th of April, but they had
No,
No.
March.
March. So they had
March.
a
March
press event right before.
16th, wasn't it?
March
March
Yeah,
16th?
yeah, 16.
And so this is when they had Britney Spears, though.
And Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child, yeah, on the back lot,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I always call that the Destiny's Child stage when it was there.
Yeah,
The
I
only
mean,
thing it's ever been useful for.
Yeah.
that was oh snap. That was kind of yeah, I don't know. You know that I feel like for 2002, that Walt Disney Studio opening show was just kind of like a hot mess.
It was very
Like
che-
the
it was
And you could
cheesy,
tell,
wasn't it? Very
you could
cheesy.
tell that they didn't want to show the park. I think it's so
They
obvious.
only showed inside Studio One, front lot, and then the 3 sets. That's the only things they showed.
Yeah, but they never
What
really
ma-
you never really get like a whole like overview of the park. You see just like little corners that are very much like set up for the performances because obviously they were ashamed of that park. If you watch Imagining Story, there's a whole lot of reasons.
Lot of truth there. Yeah, there was a lot of David Hasselhoff in the Armageddon vehicle.
goodness.
It's a really
Oh,
long.
yeah.
It's a really long section, just to pad it out a bit.
Well, that was the highlight of the park. Because what else was to do in 2002 when it opened? Not
I
a
hope we
whole
get a
lot.
TV special for like Frozen Land. It deserves it.
So yeah, the opening, as kind of Patrick says, I mean, you don't even have Tower of Terror. You've got the Tram Tour, the Art of Animation. You had
Aladdin's
Magic,
carpet.
Flying Carpets, Cinemagique,
Animation.
the Disney Channel thing, and
Yeah.
Armageddon, Rock and Roller Coaster, and the Stunt Show. That's it. That's all you had.
That's full still.
So then,
Yeah.
then came 15, and 15 was a pretty good one. They reused
I liked
the manholes from the Winter Lights, which was an amazing thing they had at first for Christmas, to have those poles, right? The 15th was when they had those like big poles
Yeah.
with like, was it princesses on there or characters? and
No, so
flags?
they were blue. They were
It was
just
a
blue
Lumiere,
with, like,
wasn't it? Lumiere
Yeah.
was the mascot, I think.
and they had
yeah.
that really cool thing in Central Plaza, if you remember, like the big 15th statue of Lumiere as a photo prop. That was cool.
Yeah, just on the side,
That was
wasn't it?
cool.
Yes, that's right.
And then there was a show. I remember
Candle
seeing,
There was many shows for the 15th.
Yeah.
The 15th was great for shows. and
no, but I
stuff.
mean, like for the actual day, they had like a stage at Central Plaza, and it said like
Yeah,
"Happy
they did.
Birthday" in the back.
The 15th was less for the day and more for the whole year, though, wasn't there?
Is that
Yeah.
the first one that you went to, Elliot? 15? No.
Well, no, I went like a week after I finished the extended.
I went for the 15th was my first anniversary year. I think I may have gone for the 10th actually, but I don't remember it.
Was there like a media?
kind of
Was DLP Jump Square a thing back then?
No, not for the 15th.
Huh.
Started during the 20th.
So there was no media. So
There
did
was,
you
there
get
was a media event though.
Right, but I mean, like, not for-
because I was
not
in
for,
the
like-
fan stuff.
ah?
I was kind of in the fan community, so I remember the first night, which was the 31st of March. They did a whole thing where guests could watch, and they did Candelabration, but they did it like massive.
Right.
So if you remember Candelabration, the show where they did all the lights,
Yeah.
and each of the turrets on the castle had a candle, but they went into this massive firework display, like the likes of which I've never seen before. I haven't seen since at Paris actually, but it was insane.
Wow.
That was crazy. Like, it got to the point where it was getting at the end smoky, like really smoky. I've seen videos of that. Obviously, I was not there.
And so for the 20th, we got Disney Dreams, which I think was like one of
The
the
landmark.
best premieres of any anniversaries, because finally it wasn't just like, little things here and there. It was like a big new show, and it was so innovative. And
Has everyone seen the Channel 5 Disney Dreams documentary?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yes, they did that, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that was probably the first time they really used like social media, because it was, in inverted commas, broadcast live, wasn't it?
Oh,
Well,
lol.
So Disneyland Paris were actually, even for the going back to the 15th, they were kind of ahead on the online stuff. So before the Disney Parks blog, Disneyland Paris actually had a 15th anniversary blog that was really good, regularly updated like every week or so. And it was really, really strong.
huh. And since then,
But
but
they just contracted in a journalist. I think she worked for like Vogue or something, and just like went, "Can you write something for us every week?"
oh, interesting. Maybe they should do that more.
Yeah.
So should we move to the? So we were talking about the 20th, but 20th was also when Magic Everywhere came out.
And the character
Yeah.
train.
This is me segueing into another music
Break.
break.
But they also did on
So-
April 12th, 2012.
was
They
cute.
did a masterclass with Tony Baxter.
Oh, really?
And they had a show celebrating each land in every land.
But interesting. Because for the 25th, I also met Tony Baxter.
Yeah, but he didn't do a masterclass for any guest. This was for all guests. You just walked into Hyperion and you could watch it.
Oh, you're joking. Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, we had like a thing at Toad Hall where he was just, I don't know what he was doing.
Chilling.
Yeah, I saw the stuff.
If you've met Tony Baxter, he has, and I love him and I love his work, but he does have like a standard, speech story for when he's just there to just talk about his life and his work, and it makes sense because how much can you reinvent your own life story, right? But it's kind of like once you've seen one, you've kind of seen most of them. So we got that version. It was great. It's great because it's so fascinating. He's such a great storyteller.
I remember seeing, like, randomly, Disneyland Paris gave a whole bunch of fans a guided tour of the park, I think for the 25th, with Tony Baxter. And I remember watching the videos. There's this whole video tour and stuff like that. And then he stands in the hub and says, okay, so which land do you want to go to? And I'm thinking, I've heard so many stories about Tony Baxter and Frontierland. Please go to literally any other land. And all of the people on that tour go, oh, we should go to Frontierland. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did something on
easy score.
He did something at the 5th anniversary on I think it was the 12th of April in the afternoon in Walt's restaurant upstairs, afternoon tea. It was kind of something that fans knew about, and he did one of his talks there. And you're right, it's the same kind of patter that he does, but it's still fascinating. But and Marty Sklar came along as well to that one.
Oh wow!
So that was quite a moment that he was there.
Yeah. So
I'd pay anything to sit in a room with Tony Baxter for half an hour or so. That'd be amazing.
I know, right? But he's the thing to we're talking about guests for the podcast. It's easy. It's easy-ish. It's easier to ask Eddie Soto, who's not with Disney anymore. Anyone who's with Disney,
He's not with Disney anymore.
Eddie Soto, he's not. But Tony Baxter.
No, he's not.
He's an emeritus.
He's still contracted. With Disney. Yeah. Not as maybe not as an attraction designer or land designer, but he's contracted with them. And so trying to get him...
He has some sort of emeritus title, I think. I can't remember what it is. But
so it's always harder to get people like that because you have to go through the whole ladder of Disney and what's possible. And we tried to get the ambassadors to come on the live show during the lockdown, but they're not allowed because there's no official statements. No official statements must come out, and so they're not allowed to express themselves, which... It's too bad, but hey, we still love them. All right, so let's listen to Magic Everywhere, and when we come back, we can talk about the 25th anniversary, which really is just going to be a short segment bashing Disney Illumination. Yeah, sounds good? Perfect.
We're staying on brand.
So think about what you don't like about Disney Illuminations, and we'll discuss it in the next segment. We'll be right back. And we're back. You know, I was so mad at that song for looping. What's going on over there?
We were having this exact conversation.
He said 20 seconds. So Elliot counted 20 seconds. And I just said, welcome back.
But the problem
So thanks for having me.
The problem is that I don't know. My second counter on my screen is now accurate or something. I don't know. Sorry. I was so mad at that song for looping literally 10 times.
We were
during the
literally
parade.
saying the same thing 5
was
years
like,
of hearing
I
that
hated
song
that.
20 times a
I
day.
hated that
And
for
they still use
5
it now when the park
years.
opens.
Yeah, but you know what? That's cute now because you kind of hear it and you're like, oh, memories. It's just like a few seconds. But I mean, how in like 2012 they decided to
I swear,
have
if they try and
3
if they try
minutes
and
of
pull that shit,
music, loop
if they try and pull
around,
that shit.
20 minutes of parade. That was I was just so outraged by it. And even like first timers that I brought to the park were like, are they playing that song again? And like so the song would end and there would be a few seconds of blank where all the performers had like their hands in the air and they were like ta-da, and then they would just go again. And I was like, oh Jesus. I'd be so mad.
But this is of course also after they had each segment had a loop on Once Upon a Dream Parade and
So
Phantom
it's a
Vision,
downgrade.
Main
It
Street
wasn't-
Electrical Parade. Even.
It wasn't a technical reason at all. It was just like a weird
money.
choice. But was
Yeah,
it though?
money.
Was it though? Is it because they have like 16 versions of that Magic on Parade song? They even have it.
They made a random St. Patrick's Day. version.
Right, they have
Why?
the Irish version. Why don't you just cut? I mean, no offense, Patrick, love you. I love you, but
let's
just cut the damn Irish version and give me a proper parade music.
Here's Patrick. Here comes Patrick.
Let's just say, regardless of what we like, I don't even think I've heard the Irish version. But let's just say, Magic on Parade is my least favorite parade music and parade floats ever in a Disney park, and I'm gonna say it now. I hate it.
Snap.
I like the
But they,
final
they
float.
also had an Irish version. They had a Christmas version, 2 Christmas versions actually, because they actually did a whole Christmas mix. And they
I
had
didn't
one
know
where it
this.
was just
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had all
And then
those
they also
versions.
had one where it was just magic everywhere, but with a couple of like bells in the end. Like and it was during the opening fanfare, it went ding 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 ding, and then just carried on as normal.
So I didn't know one thought about doing a parade, a proper theme parade soundtrack. Anyway, yeah.
So they spent all the money on Dreams.
Right, but can it be that much more expensive? I don't know. Cut the
We
railroad
have
for
to
6
make
months,
8
damn it, and give us a
songs
proper
into one.
Anyways, so yeah, I was very glad when the 25th anniversary came around and we got a
If they
proper.
try and pull this shit on the 30th, no, I would like make them this music myself.
I hope they don't. No, they won't. I feel like we've moved on now because they have the
Yeah.
new sound system. You know, they like have this whole Wi-Fi.
They spent a lot of money
control.
on that sound system for
Yes.
Stars on Parade, didn't
And
they?
it's all like GPS, Wi-Fi. I mean,
And
everything.
infrared.
Kind of.
Yeah.
We were saying in January at Disney World, when you stand in the hub and listen to Happily Ever After, the sound system difference between Paris and there. Paris is booms out. It's such a good sound system
Yeah.
in comparison. It's just
It's very bassy in Paris.
We do have
yeah,
some nice
it really
things.
gets inside you.
We have some nice things.
Yeah, sure. I mean, are we sure that there will be a 30th parade, given the fact that the resort is basically leaking money now?
Well,
No.
you know, I
I
mean,
bet those add like.
to be honest, like,
float to Stars, like
I
at
don't think-
Moana or something.
but I think that was the plan all along when they say, you know, a new parade. I mean, if you look at the way the parades are renewed, it's like basically the half decades you get a new parade, and on the main decades you get a new nighttime show. Isn't that how it works? So I'm assuming we're getting a new nighttime show or a nighttime parade. And
Please
we
give
just-
us a new nighttime
But the
show.
thing is, the
it's
thing
gonna
about
be,
the
it's
Once
gonna
Upon a
go from
Dream-
like, you know, Stars on Parade to like, I don't know, like
Lost in the Magic Parade.
fantasy on Parade, and then they'll.
But the problem is with Once Upon a Dream, they could change it easily because it was just the books. I can't see how the Stars on Parade floats are so like custom that you can't just like put some new paint on and a new prop and call it a different movie.
Some people would argue that there's no real team in Stars on Parade, so they
No,
can
but
just
as in the floats themselves, like you couldn't
No, but
take.
they're just
it's
they're
not
just
like a
gonna
base.
dump. They're just gonna dump the Tokyo floats. Those Tokyo floats are literally made of cardboard and are on the brink of collapsing. Like, I don't know how it is safe to have performers on there. Like,
on a floating pirate ship.
Like,
Hey, have you watched that Lion King float like jump around? Like, it's going everywhere.
God. When it goes over the rails, like literally the whole top of it is like swinging around, and I'm like, oh boy, this is the day. It's today. It's gonna happen today. Yeah, but hopefully, obviously they have good checks and everything's fine. But I feel like the Lion King floats and the Peter Pan floats could be replaced with some floats.
And Moana.
Well, some floats
I think
that are
we
more
could
in
replace
theme with the other
Finding
ones.
Dory float.
Yes, but I mean, let's face it, that float is like free to run because there's like 3 dancers with it and there's no performers on it, and so why change it, right? But
I feel like
like
they're going to like take the Aristocats floats from Happiness is Here and put that in.
But I feel like the thematically and on design point of view, the Peter Pan float and the Lion King float really stand out because first they're not shiny like the other ones. The other ones look like giant toys. They're shiny. And then those 2 ones, they're not shiny. They're just kind of more traditional floats. They just really stand out, I feel, in the parade. Even like, the Toy Story float is shiny. And even Crush, he's useless, but he's shiny.
Mm-hmm.
At least the bases. And it's like, I feel like there's I don't know. Yeah. So that's my rant. Sorry.
Has there ever been a Disneyland Paris parade that didn't have a Peter Pan float? Because I'm just thinking about it through the years, and I don't think there's always been a Peter Pan element to a parade.
I
think you're right.
You can't
That's
have
because
to.
Paris keeps it very safe, doesn't it? We've spoken about this a little bit before. For Paris, the thing they love doing is just, Lion King works. Okay, well, you can have Lion King everywhere then.
But the thing is, like, they have to, and we were talking about that on previous shows, they have to appeal to so many different cultures. Whether in the US you have the American cultures, and in Tokyo you have the Japanese culture, and it's easy to figure out. I mean, because the media is quite uniform in each country, and if they had only to cater to the French, I feel like it would be really easy to just like change things up with like whatever the French like this day, or this year, or this season. But you also have to appeal to the German, the Spanish, the Italian, the UK, and just all the international guests. And it's always
because
been...
the truth is, it's the international guests that make them the most money. Like, things aren't in English for a joke. Like, money's talks,
Yeah, and I mean, look at the Jungle Book Jive. There is a huge influx of guests from India. There is. And a lot of them are VIP. A lot of them stay at a Disneyland hotel. A lot of them are like rich families, or I don't know who they are, but they're here. And the Jungle Boot Jive appealed to them, and it was just wonderfully done, and we love it. But it shows that they're really trying to appeal to everyone. But also, you have the Lion King show, and this is how we ended up with Lion King and Jungle, which really technically, two different continents, but sure.
I think, but we've mentioned this before, in that when you look at Magic Happens, you've got that really good mix between here's just some properties that we know work and just are great, and here's also some new stuff to satisfy people who want to see something a little bit different, a little bit new, something you've not seen in a parade before.
Yeah. I mean, in Paris, I think they try to do that with Finding Dory, because the Crush float is really a Finding Dory float, but I mean, it kind of fell flat. I mean, but there's sometimes they're pretty good. We were the first resort to have a Frozen float in Magic on Parade. They ripped out half a float and made a float based on a movie that was not even released. So
Yeah, and they also did it with Disney Dreams of Christmas. Okay, yes, the production cost there was shared with California Adventure, but we had it.
Yeah,
we actually debuted it first as well.
Yeah, so and we also debuted the first Frozen 2 float with Amazing Sven. Oh, I miss him.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what he's up to. I wonder what he's up to right now.
Haven't seen both with the floats. I actually think Paris, because of like Sven and whatever, I genuinely think that Paris is I'm happy with it. I prefer it personally because I feel like it gives more animation to the whole fact that there's like a Sven who's like properly interacting with Kristoff and not just moving his head from left to right.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great float.
And I feel like it's really strange having Arna stood up in that boat. Like, it just doesn't sit right with me,
That bothers me much less. I don't know. For me, Sven makes
Oh, yeah,
our
of
float
course.
the difference.
Well, Sven saved all the Frozen shows. I mean, if you go to Animation Celebration on the other side, he's also kind of like the main events. Like once I moved to the second room, I'm like, okay, let's get this over with. I've seen what I wanted to see. I've seen Sven.
But I also think in that show, that first room is much better than the second room.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
because
even the
it's
physical
so
set is better.
hard to make the ice castle in such a small stage. You remember what the stage used to be? That was the second stage was the
Yeah.
one where the animator was on, and like
Yeah.
you could. I mean, granted, the space was not used the same way, but I remember that stage had barely enough room for the guy on his chair and like 2 desks
Yeah.
or something, and like a screen. And now it
I
has
feel like
an ice castle.
the lighting in the second room is phenomenal, and I feel like that for me saves a lot of it because they kind of do as much as they can, and I like in that instance I feel I'm kind of a bit more open-minded to what they're doing because like they did try and do as much as they could. They didn't call it in and it's like, well, whatever, it's fine. We'll just do a screen, fine. Like they did try their best, and when they tried their best, and they obviously they couldn't build a whole new stage for that show. So like I'm kind of like I let Disney away with stuff when I'm like they tried their best. I feel like sometimes when they don't try their best, then that's when you're kind of like you're phoning it in, and it shows. And then when they're always on about, oh, it's the story, it's the heart of what we do, and then you realize that they phone in a parade, like the Frozen 2 parade, they phoned that in like 100%. They're like, oh, it's the story. I'm like, what's the story here? Because nobody gets it apart from like Chris. I'm saying, Poppy told me it was this way. I was like, great, okay.
Yeah.
I think Animation Celebration is definitely quality. It's small. Yeah. It is whatever, people are standing and it's small, but I think they did amazing with what they had.
It's a really fun show.
And the Frozen 2
enjoy
float is beautiful. It's just not used right. But the Frozen 2 float in itself is beautiful, and I hope they reuse it, and I hope that Frozen season is on the cutting board from the budget cuts and not other things that could be more interesting.
Honestly, no, they'll take out the Frozen float from Stars on Parade and dump it and use it for something else and replace it with that Frozen 2 float for the 30th parade.
That would be good because they're so high, aren't they, in Stars on Parade?
Yeah.
I know, they're way up there.
It's a really difficult taking pictures.
It's a problem for most of the new floats. It's a problem to see Buzz. It's a problem to even see Mickey and Minnie. Because they're just waving from up there. It's like they're out a window.
The thing I don't like with the Mickey and Minnie, I really like where they're sat, and I really like the book. But you can pick a side, you will not see them on the other side because there's that giant book in the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
we found time to have a go at Disney Stars on Parade before we had to go at Illumination.
I know, but I feel like we've ran out of things to say about Illumination. Like it just needs to go for the 30th. Like, please. Do we have less than 2 years to go of this? Maybe we only have less than 2 years. That's good news.
Well,
it might be gone in 2 years.
What would you prefer? What would you prefer replace it? A mediocre fireworks show, a mediocre nighttime parade, or what would you rather replace Illuminations of the 30th?
I would prefer it to be replaced by a decent nighttime parade and a mediocre projection show with no fireworks.
Yes, 100%.
Not the fireworks that cost the money.
It's just how it's going to be, and add the fireworks at the weekends or something.
That's not the problem. The problem is keeping the park open in like April and May when it's quiet until 10 o'clock so they can do this.
The thing is, average guests don't really care about the projections. Sorry, they care about the fireworks. That's what I hear from people who are not like massive Disney fans. And so at some point, people are going to have to go on severance and stop getting used to having fireworks every night. It needs to stop. It just needs to stop. So one day this is going to happen. And the only way that you can get people to accept that is if there is a great nighttime parade. Now, when I say a projection show, I mean for like the long summer nights, because, maybe they can run a nighttime parade twice, but not on every night and not on every season that the sun goes down, pretty late. So in the meantime, they could have for the mid-season, when the sun goes down a little bit earlier, they could have a projection show like, which one was the one from Tokyo that they moved to Disney World?
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
It was a lovely
was
show,
good.
and you would just walk by and watch it, and it was nice. It was like 10, 15 minutes. It was great, and it would run it used to run like 3 or 4 times during the night in like busy season, and there was something happening in the hub while you were eating your ice cream. It was cute.
I completely agree with a point that Ben made last week, I think it was, where we were talking about the electrical parades and that being the thing that you could only get at Disney. No one will do a electrical parade other than Disney.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel like all those projection shows, they're great, but you can see them in Central Paris on City Hall. You can see them in Notre Dame. You can see them in London. You can see them on the American Embassy in Paris. They do a great one, actually. That's produced by Disneyland Paris.
How feasible do you think it would be for, just imagining, how feasible would it be for an electrical parade to come back? Do you think they would even actually consider it, or are they just going to take
I think
it away? It's whatever.
It's definitely something that is on the drawing board, or at least has been recently.
Well, I feel like it sounds like the idea that they have now is hybrid parades. So like you'd have a day parade where some of the floats, or all of the floats, or maybe all of the
Stars
floats,
and Parade does
plus,
that anyway.
But Stars and Parade doesn't have nighttime parade lights. They have,
but Magic
they have
Happens
just
doesn't have
enough
nighttime parade lights.
But Magic
They have
Happens is
dusk
not
lights, don't they? Yeah.
Magic Happens is not a nighttime parade. That's not what I'm talking about. Apparently, what they're working on for Christmas is a parade that has like thousands of lights and LED costumes and LED flashing lights with the music and all that stuff on floats that are also used during the day.
I personally, but this is just because I can't even imagine how that would look. I personally I'm not excited as much about having one parade and have it just wheeled out at nighttime and have it look nice. But that's just because I haven't never seen a nighttime parade, and in my head I kind of imagine something like grandiose, like Paint the Night or a Main Street Electrical Parade or Fantalusion, because I've seen it online, but I've never seen one in real life, and I don't know when one parade is trying to do two things, will it do either one well, if that makes sense?
If you're talking about capacity, Paris definitely has the capacity to run a daytime parade and a nighttime parade on the same day. They have done it for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm curious as to whether they will. They kind of, like we were saying in previous episodes. I'm curious as to whether they'll just want to go and take the risk, or just kind of play it safe. I'm like, man, we can just order a new nighttime show and just do that, and it's easier.
I think the good thing with doing a potential electrical parade, let's say on the 30th anniversary year, is it will have been 10 years since Disneyland Paris had an electrical parade, and I think that is enough time to get it completely out of the public consciousness. You do not see people, or Paris fans even, talking about Fantalusion anymore, other than, oh yeah, I remember that. That was a thing. Yeah, I liked that. You bring it back, you bring an electrical parade for the 30th, and all of a sudden it's, oh my gosh, Disney did that. Wow.
Yeah.
I think as well, and like the fact that I know this sounds a bit silly, but like in 2012, social media was not the same as it is in 2020. So like, I feel like there could be a massive kind of, it could really enter into consciousness if they brought it back in 2022, and you can think of all the things that you can do in 2022 that you couldn't do in 2012, like lives and like pictures, and how like Instagram is a massive thing. I don't know. It feels like it could be like a really great ad for the resort.
One of the things that one of the thoughts, I don't know if it's a rumor, but like obviously Hong Kong has a Paint the Night parade, and is going to have an anniversary pretty soon, and if the parade stops there, they might look to ship it to another resort, which could be us, or which could be Shanghai, for example. And while I hope...
Also remember that in Burbank, there is currently sitting in a shed a Disneyland version of Paint the Night that has not been used for 3 years now. Criminally.
But I feel like Disneyland would send it to Disney World before they send it to anywhere abroad. Whether Hong Kong,
it wouldn't work in Disney World because the floats are too wide to work in Magic Kingdom, so it's impossible.
How are they too wide? Oh,
they can't go over the bridge. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But I mean, and my point was, while I would be happy to get Paint the Night in Paris because it's a beautiful parade, I kind of want something new, something different. But
Yeah.
hey, you know,
But we just
I, at this point, I would take Paint the Night just because I remember, and we had the Main Street Electrical Parade. We all went to Disneyland last year, and we all enjoyed that. But at the same time, that gave me. Sorry, Patrick. But I just that brought back the whole. Oh my gosh, nighttime parades are my absolute favorite. I love them. I don't know.
It does have that excitement
feeling.
when you just sit on Main Street or everywhere and just wait for it to roll.
And then
That's
they
that
turn out the
anticipation,
lights.
isn't it, of the parade
Yeah.
coming? The anticipation, the energy and excitement, and
Yeah.
you don't always get
It's not
that when you're
just-
waiting for a fireworks show.
And it's dark,
My
and
most-
you can see the light flashing in the distance, and you can hear the music,
Yeah.
My most
growing
vivid memories
louder.
from my first trip
And
to
it's
the
the
DLP are Fantalution. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's the lights turning out, right? That's the moment. You remember the
yes.
lights turning
Oh
out.
yeah.
That's a big moment.
There is a video of a cast member at Disneyland who sits in the middle of Main Street, and for Paint the Night, the announcement starts, and then it just goes boom, and he just pretends to play golf and puts an imaginary ball in the middle of Main Street, and he just goes like a big swing, and right when it goes boom,
that's so cool.
he just go like boom, and everyone's like woo!
Didn't Richie find his TikTok? But he was like,
Maybe.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And it's all the kind of stuff. And the cast members are all have flashy things, and they're all super excited. And there's tons of excitement for Nighttime Parade. More than the day one. The day one, I feel like, sometimes it's cold or it's hot or you're tired or I don't know, the mid-afternoon. It's still fun and exciting, but the nighttime is kind of like the conclusion of your day, and you just there and feel
Right.
happy. So
Typically, the soundtracks have a lot more to them, I think. Look at Paint the Night. It's very energetic. The lighting and everything is super
Paint the
energetic.
Night. Paint the Night on Paris's sound system would be very good.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing with nighttime parades is just how alive you feel during them and after them. It's a real spectacular end of the night, and it's personal as well. Parades are personal more than fireworks shows because Mickey can still look and wave at you, and that's a great moment to leave on potentially to end your day.
Do you think they still have to do them at park closing, or
Depends on the time of year.
Not necessarily. I mean,
because of that surge of people that leave the park to go to the RER or hotels or wherever, would that work better for the evenings?
they could do them if the park closes at 11, they could do them at 10, and then you end at 10:30.
But they'd also
and then you
have
some
to
time.
restructure the whole entertainment day because you couldn't run Stars on Parade at 5:30 and then a nighttime parade at 7.
But that's good
But they-
because
but they have-
Stars on Parade
they
is
have
to
been able
go
to do it.
earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been able to do it in the past. Operationally, a nighttime parade can happen at Paris. It's happened.
Yeah.
All right, so for the 30th, we would like a nighttime parade. Please put it on the order.
I just
Put it on the invoice.
I just have a question for the team because I've asked this question before to be individually, but I just thought if for the 30th anniversary color schemes, what color schemes do you think they'll use for the 30th anniversary?
Red and gold.
After
We already know this one.
do we? Is it red and gold?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Ruby.
It has to be.
It's the
It,
Ruby
it
anniversary.
alternates, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No,
gonna
but
be red.
this has to be or genuinely will be.
It is.
Genuinely will be. I'm sure they said that at Journée de Métier.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some red. I don't know about the gold. Maybe it'll be red and silver, but I think really red and gold. might
Red
be
and
it.
gold is
Yeah.
nice, though.
Yeah, it's nice.
But will it
And
not
of
feel like
course,
Christmas?
Patrick is disappointed. What did
Oh,
you want?
well,
Pink and blue, or?
No, totally. I'm not happy, but will not red and gold not feel a bit too much like Christmas?
No, I think it'll be bright gold,
Yeah, more like burgundy type of.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know.
Do you know, we're about a year out from actually knowing things about this. That's exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Next year is our last normal birthday before we ramp up for another celebration, which is really exciting.
How crazy
Yeah.
that's been 5 years. Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird how for Paris fans, I guess they do this a lot in Tokyo as well, really, but we kind of live from anniversary to anniversary. It's really weird, but cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we know we don't get that much between our anniversaries compared to the others.
Right. It's not like at D23 they can come out and go, hey, we're doing a new parade for Disneyland, and everyone goes, oh my gosh, that's cool. Like, we know that there will probably be a new parade and nighttime show in 2 years' time.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Oh.
And
We'll probably actually, the first time we hear about this will probably be D23 next year. We'll probably get a logo or something.
maybe, yeah. Same pattern
Remember-
as 25th.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was when they kind of revealed it at D23.
No,
And then Paris was like,
our
no,
logo."
it's not the logo. Don't
Happens.
worry
It's
about
not,
it.
yeah.
And then it actually came out, and of course it was the logo.
Well, do you think they'll go back to like a standard Arial font with like for the 30 to go with the 20th anniversary, or was it like, what was it, like Comic Sans or Arial or something? It was just like a regular font.
I would
Very
love the
happy.
logo to be Comic Sans.
Yeah.
Don't joke. You never know. All right, guys, we have to go because we're going to hit 3 hours, and thank you for everyone who's still listening because I know you guys
Sorry
have
for our
nothing else.
ramblings.
I know you guys have nothing else to do probably because it's stuck at home, but still. So I'll put the show on the podcast feed, and I'll be great because I actually want to listen to your interview again from earlier. That was really
That
cool.
was
I
so
think you should
good.
cut that up into its own segment and release that as like its own thing.
Maybe, yeah, that's a good idea. We'll see.
That was such a cool interview, actually. I really
Very
enjoyed
cool.
that.
So thank you guys for sticking around, and I'm sure we'll be back. Well, not next week because that would mean tomorrow, but the week after, probably on a Monday. We'll go back on a regular Monday schedule if we're still confined, which let's face it, we probably are.
Yeah.
And we'll finish with the April 12, 2017 Grand Celebration finale. So it's a version of Every Day's a Celebration, but it's the version from the April 12 show. So there you go. Thank you, guys. And we'll see
Happy
you next
anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
very much.
Happy 28th.
Happy
Thank you,
anniversary,
Darren. Thank you,
yeah.
Jeff. Thank you, Richie. Thank you, Patrick.
It's been really
Thank
nice
you,
to have
Elliot.
you on, Darren.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting
Yeah,
us. It's
come
good fun.
You should
I
come
enjoyed
back.
it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody needs a place to get away, a place to share with family and friends, where we can imagine and live a fantasy, where dreams never have to end, and the wonders never cease. Here at Disneyland Paris, every day's a celebration of wishes coming true. You don't need an invitation, we're always here for you. Days and nights are filled with laughter, there's always something new. In a world of adventure, enchantment, excitement, and out of the blue, it's too good to be true. Could it be? Come and see. You're always at home here at Disneyland Paris.
Oh, I just love happy endings. Don't you, Flora? Merryweather.
Most certainly, dear. Now then, I'd say our magical grand celebration is complete. And that means dreams will come true for many years to come. Forever and ever and... and evermore.